show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Neil's here, Sean's here, they're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to look at the names as decided by you. So make sure to get into the midday chat every day and have your vote. Yeah, we're retracing a little bit on the triple Qs right now, but we are decidedly up on the day, nicely green. We're really on the verge of breaking and holding above that 20,000 point level on the NQ September contract. The ES faring well, doing well as well, but not as high as the NQ on the day, as it really benefits from some of the recovery on the Mag 7 name. The first name, as decided by you guys, NVDA, huge day for today, and Tesla, both really up in Greensville. This one really on the back of news coming out of NVIDIA that their new processor, the B20, will replace the old processor, the H20, specifically made for China. We've seen huge damage done to their revenue as a result of the embargo on the chips to China from NVIDIA and from some other American manufacturers there. So we'll keep an eye on this one. What is the look right now, guys, on NVIDIA?
Ooh, nice cap. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't wearing that.
It's that mushroom company. Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to get some makeup on here.
You weren't wearing that this morning, though.
Oh, no, that's the sticker. That's the sticker.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I wasn't wearing it this morning. No. Went for a
Because
walk.
how observant as I am, it's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, not wearing it. Yeah, go ahead. NVIDIA's gonna be my number one name. If you wanna...
No, so anyways, like very quickly on NVIDIA, it's about to break the high of the day. So early look, I didn't have the 122.50 breakout. That was the resistance for the last couple of days. I got it on the way back in. We were trading CrowdStrike in the moment. So at the same moment that it came that breakout, I was getting a dip in CrowdStrike. But I eventually took this bid down here off the 120 bounce and played in a VWAP, but all roads right back to this key price level, 122.5. You just broke it out. We're about to make a fresh high. I want to join this, looking for a dip back into the 122.5. And if you're wondering, there you go. NVIDIA is continuing this break. It was 3 days in a row. You had more or less the same range. I don't want to say exactly because Friday it never got to 117, but you're breaking out this top. I think you've got a gap to be filled. Great lesson of the day, but sometimes you can fill in a gap during market hours, not just overnight, and that's what NVIDIA, I think, is attempting to do here. Up 4.5 points and hunting for more, dragging the futures with it. Looking to buy dips into 122.5.
Look, we had NVIDIA today. Like I said to you guys, it is going to be the number one P&L name for myself. It just continues to climb. I mean, we hit that today like a sniper again. We did it on AMD last week. We do it on NVIDIA here today. We take that 120 off of a little pre-market bounce. Like it came back in, went into those pre-market lows, and then we just took it and we believed in it, and it is a big-time siren stock for this one. Boom, 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 as we go, and now it's up to the highs. We also take that 122.50 break. We did get our last piece out there when it took VWAP, and I mean, we did this live on the show. Every single one of these entries and exits were live this morning, and it is the top name here on our sticky note. So, I mean, Tesla would be, but I hadn't traded it today. So we'll look at Tesla and see what's happening. But yeah, NVIDIA right back to day's high. I'd say I told you so, but I would still be in it then if I knew that it was going to be all the way back up here. But I like Tesla and NVIDIA. But today, Tesla missed it. NVIDIA's coming up. We'll talk about Tesla in a second. So there it is, breaking out the day's high, up 4 and a bit. We were asked that question today. Remember about Intel calls? And I kind of laughed it off a little bit there. Intel doing absolutely nothing today. My advice to that gentleman or lady or whatever was that we will watch out here for NVIDIA, and I preferred NVIDIA over Intel. I also preferred SOXL over Intel, so I hope that was a money-making opportunity for that individual, and glad that you super chatted that for sure. Next time I'll take my own advice.
Big day for Tesla, guys. Not that you didn't already know that. 5 1/4 right now, 5 1/5 to the high side on the back of this headline. So Optimus still definitely in the plans for Tesla, but it's not going to be as early as we once anticipated. So we're looking at making it available for mass distribution next year. That's not going to be the case. It looks like they're going to use it in-house at the Tesla Gigafactories next year and then possibly make it available for other companies starting in 2026. This one, though, reports this week, guys, and widely expected to have narrowing margins as a result of the price cuts and capital expenditures.
Margins. No. just for anyone out there that's, I see a lot of people in the chat asking about AMC. When it's a news-based halt, I know it's been halted for a while, but you can just go to this page. I know what Dara mentioned it, NASDAQ Trader, trade halts. It's news-based, so it says T1. That usually goes T1, T2, T3. T3 means news fully disseminated. Then you're going to get some kind of a quote resumption time. And I have it up when it happens, but there's no guarantee as to timing. It doesn't matter 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. None of that's going to be relevant for AMC. So just want to make sure, if you're sitting there staring at it, stare at that halt page. And at least you'll have a reason for doing so. So Tesla, my plan of action was area right, execution wrong, and it was that 250 fade. So 250, there was the breakout early. I thought we'd be going dip buys. If it was going to be a long, I thought we'd go dip buy long. But instead, it broke out that top at 250. I had a couple of shorts in there and took a couple of hits. Did not get back in. My focus when it came back to the same level was CrowdStrike at the moment. So I was on the level 2 of CrowdStrike pretty much the whole morning looking for turns, and you had to really pick your spots with that one. So I didn't get back in on the way down. I did have a breakout at 252, which could not make it past the quarters, and I'm just looking for 250 at this point. So 250 was a level. Now it's starting to hold it. If you bounce off that 250 again, I'm going to look to take a shot. If it pulls through 250, there's always VWAP, but trend up. Tesla up 5% and looking very, very strong, let's just say, relative to the overall market. We're chopping around this 20,000 on the NASDAQ, but overall, Tesla's managing to hold these highs while doing so.
We had Tesla written down here as our #1 trade idea for today to go long. But again, we just wrote down that dip buy area, and we should have gotten off of VWAP. We talked about that. We had that NVIDIA long, but still Tesla, NVIDIA, ARM. We're going to talk about all of these, I'm certain enough. But yeah, look, missed opportunities. We can sit here. That's the TQs. Oh man, we clicked on the wrong stock. We can leave this for later. You know what I'm saying? This was a good one right back there. But here we go. TSLA. Yeah, so, sorry, it wasn't VWAP, it was the 200 period right there. We had talked about VWAP failing, actually, when we were live on the air. Remember, I was like, it's a good thing I didn't take that 248, because a pullback into VWAP is normally a trade that we like. But so anyways, that would have failed right there. But it looks like it's the 200 period here on the 1 minute that is held. Now, it's easy to say this as the market keeps on climbing higher and higher. So let's wait to see here if that top does become, I don't know. I mean, I sort of thought 255, 256 would be a great day, and obviously it will be. That would put Tesla up a couple more percentage points than we already are. So Tesla really, really working hard today to keep those longs busy. So almost all the way back. I mean, we did have that little dump situation into the 230s, but before Elon and Bloomberg, I guess, started talking a little bit about the robo-taxi, we were up at 265. So you're coming back up there, a good week in the market, and we get right back to that. So yeah, I think you got to be happy if you're trading today of Tesla being at its day's high.
Bit of a nothing burger today on Apple. It did sell off initially there after bell. In the pre-market, it was moving up a little bit higher, got into that 227.5 area. These 8 a.m. prints actually factored in midday here because they were basing it at 225. It looks like we definitely have a top here at 225. Sean's shorting this bad boy right now. What's the look, guys?
But yeah, okay. So Apple, okay, I'm in Apple right now. Yeah, so we just got into this name. I don't know. We've taken some profit on it. What we're trying to do here is just try to hold out on a play and see if it can work. That is the short back into the 200 or even back into the 50 at this point. When we started this, man, I mean, we were down here for the 50-period moving average, but Apple and the market just continues to tick higher, like riding that 50-period moving average. I picked on Apple because, again, you see the market's up 1.5, Apple's only up 0.4. So I'm taking a relatively weak name and shorting it because I thought we were up a little bit too high. That's the daily chart. Just thought we had got going here. I mean, obviously, we were long the TQs, and what we're planning on losing here on Apple isn't that much. But here we go. We just got to fill right now against VWAP. So here it comes. I wasn't really going to hold this past 50s, but Apple right now getting real spicy. Like we're short at 34s. Now, so we took a much bigger position there than we had here. So short at 34s on Apple. Let's see where this is going. Again, stop just above 50. Like if this stops us out, it stops us out. I thought this was going to be a good trade, but the market really is heated up, man. I don't know where we're going right now with this market, but here it looks like VWAP, Neil, good take on this. We are up freaking huge now on this. Wow, oh my, there's a money-making trade. We talk about believing in your trades, and there it is, notionally, easily, the most amount of dollars put on any single trade today on Trader TV Live, right there with Apple.
Yeah, good look. I mean, it didn't get to VWAP. I'm sitting there. We left the morning show with, okay, we're going to try and pick up Apple at VWAP. That was at 11. It was at 10:48 was the last time it touched VWAP. By the time we left the show, it was actually breaking down this level. So I'm waiting for it to get up here, and I don't want to be out unless it's breaking 225.80.
Okay.
So you have like its opening range bottom. It was 11 o'clock breakdown at 222.50-ish. It was actually more like 60. But Apple has been giving it up. It's got a pretty decent resistance level, I think, at this 228. So as long as it's relatively weak, this 20,000 on the NASDAQ, we're broken but not flying away from it. So for me, if I'm not wrong till 80s, I wanted it at 50 with an out at 80. But we're not quite there just yet. But Apple's certainly a relatively weak one, and only because we're not going to get another opportunity to talk about it. Microsoft, double top here. I think this is a dip into VWAP. As long as we hold 20,000 as a big cap tech name, I like Microsoft longs for a non-chip or Tesla related name.
Look, just come over here. I mean, quick couple seconds. I just want to explain something to everybody. So we'll be at our highest. We just started trading Apple, and we often get, damn, Daniel. All right, so it's me and Brendan talked about this, man. I mean, it's so hard to find trading shows that actually show profitable trades. And here we go right here. I mean, today, man, we've really had some bangers on board today. And I was just wanting to say, like, we are doing this as this was happening. I told you where our stops were. I told you what the prices we had. You know, I didn't. That's why I scalped it out ASAP, man. This is the middle of the day. It's like, oh my God, all this just fell into our lap. So we just were able to take that profit right there. Hold it if you want, man. This is now 30 cents in the money. We're out of a lot of it. And honestly, it's just, that's what trading is all about. Showing you the winners, showing it to you right in front of your face. And I mean, this is my style. It's now 30, 35 cents in the money. And we just had the biggest position, like I said, on board right there on Apple against that VWAP. The out, I was short at 39. The out was 50s, right? We said that. So, so far, so good. So let's just take that profit and put it in the pocket right now. It's Apple, and it is gorgeous.
The chips as a group having a great day today. AMD, no exception, up 2 1/4, was up 2 1/3 a second ago. This headline came in midday, not that one that I saw earlier. AMD and Samsung collaborating to supply high-performance substrates for hyperscale data centers, one of those places being in Vietnam. We've heard a lot about, you know, these data centers finding their way offshore, but somewhere in a friendly environment, so we'll keep tabs on that. AMD guys, up nicely. What is the look?
It's up 2%, but it's actually lower highs and failing. I don't want to call it failing, but on the daily chart, like, we'll get to the lower time frame. Let's start with the higher time frame. The positive is the 200 period moving average is about to close above as long as nothing crazy happens here today. So you found a temp bottom at $150 and you're going to get that close above. That's actually pretty bullish. Now, much like everything else this morning, like, I had one trade that worked out like 3 times, but really, it's like if I hadn't traded CrowdStrike, I have to ask myself, like, would I have been back into Tesla short? Would I have been back into AMD short? I can't know the answer to that question. I have to, you know, I got to hope that the answer would be yes. Each time there was an opportunity to jump back in after getting wicked out of Tesla and AMD short, I was in a CrowdStrike long. So in that moment, it was probably the right thing because CrowdStrike was good, but I did like this short up here. It didn't quite get to the top, around 157 to 157.5, and it is technically making lower highs, but the fact that you held this bottom on a higher low over that 200 period moving average, I kind of feel like this is a good recovery day for AMD, and I'm not thinking short in this name currently. This morning we were, this afternoon I'm not. I'd look for the opportunity potentially to go long. If you're looking for another play, which again, another strong name in here, Micron. I don't know if this is going to be as explosive, but the reversal that this made in the chip name triple bottom now at 114 bucks, and it did liquidity grab underneath 114. It's up 1%. It's got this huge move down after failing the 50 period. So this is on the radar. I don't know if it's going to make a break at the top here, but 116 looking pretty darn good for a breakout style trade. If we hold above 20,000 and the market sees a 2% kind of day, I do like that bottom. Might be looking at this tomorrow as well. If it holds this level, looks for a break to the upside. But a good reversal for a lot of these chip names off the bottom. I started looking bearish, but not really right now anymore.
All right. I just want to let everybody know that we've just been cleaning up on Apple trades because it's come back in here a couple times now. We just got a bunch out at the 50 period at O's. So I'm not sitting there anymore. I'm sitting lower in the 80s to see if we can get a break low, and then something in the 75, 76 to possibly be something. Look, I traded Broadcom, another positive name for us here today, but barely because it just got slipped up through there and we wound up losing the last little bit. But I traded AVGO today. I mean, it's not super exciting to do it. I'll probably honestly just stick with, I'll just stick with NVIDIA. You know, we always talk about trading the king, and I actually made a sort of a proclamation that once NVIDIA split, your boy would be all over this. And I know I did the research. I'm going to show you the TQQQ trade in a minute. But the thing about it is like, I knew NVIDIA would be a hot stock, as we all did, to trade it. And it's probably P&L too since the split. So we've been really lucky to hit this TQ trade. I mean, we'll talk about this in a minute. This could be absolutely like month maker if we still held on to the same trade. Let's go over talk about the IWM, and then we'll get over to NASDAQ and real trading.
Yeah, the rotation continues, Sean, because IWM having another decent day. It's not up as much as the NASDAQ or the ES, but there you go. 0.84 on the IWM, the Russell September contract, a little bit higher, about low 90s or so. No headlines specifically, obviously, on this, as we just know that with possible interest rates coming in the rest of the year, these more speculative assets that make their way onto the IWM and the Russell will probably catch a bit of a bid. Just a matter of keeping an eye on which one, but the index as a whole up nicely, guys.
Yeah, that I think last week, you know, we talked about with Ryan about possible this could dip back into prior resistance. Well, it bounced without even getting anywhere near. So on the daily, that would have been like 210 to 212. Unfortunately, if you're looking for that dip buy, you didn't get it. You got the bounce right here at 216 bucks. And sometimes that's what it is. You like a trade, you like an idea, and there's just no opportunity to get it. But what did happen is this liquidity grab under Friday's low. So when you're looking for a bounce trade, I know we talked a lot about CrowdStrike today and looking for bounces. Gimmicky when you're looking for an SSR bounce, you're just kind of looking for any spot where support comes in there. But when you get these challenges on an index of a low, just because it breaks a level doesn't mean it's through it, right? Like this is not... You know, it's not like a $1 level on some kind of penny stock. When you get that kind of reversal on a higher time frame, that's the kind of move that can happen. Like you get a break right back into the bottom, and it holds it like a dime, and then there isn't any red until it gets to a resistance spot. So good look on IWM. As a matter of fact, it's through the high and consolidating above as well. Probably not going to be trading this one as if AMC opens up, I think that's going to be the vehicle, at least in terms of volatility. That said, we are waiting quite some time for AMC. I think it'll open today. It's pretty rare that you don't get a reopen, even for a news-based halt. So I think AMC is going to be the mover for me, but great look for IWM. No chance at that 210 level, but the rotation continues. I think if we see another test of 216, probably worth a trade tomorrow.
Take a piece out of Apple there at 10s. We'll see 30 cents. All right, look, in what's going to be P&L2, not even close again, will be this one, and it's the TQs for me. Actually, sorry, I lied. Amazon, and then I wasn't even looking at Apple because that's still unrealized because we still have some shares in on that one. But, you know, I just thought this dip was a little bit too much into 72 bucks. I mean, we had to sit here and take it. I was watching Apple, NVIDIA, and all these names. And honestly, when I look back at this, it's not like there was a clear out. My out was 72.10. I was using some of these dark pool areas to get out as, and then plus past support down here at 72. So, I mean, this fell in and we have 3 trades all the way to the upside. And honestly, this just really worked out for us. kept on climbing. And then we got out here. We thought it was a pretty good spot, right back into some of these areas. You know, in hindsight, holding for the high of the day would have been fantastic. But there's a dip buy opportunity once, twice, boom, to the upside. And again, you know, got to get a little bit better at levels. But it wasn't, if I can zoom in here to show you guys, like this wasn't breaking into here. So like we trade with more shares. So when we get filled, it's like, and if I can take it out, we'll do that. And then even the shares that we have left are still good as we continue to climb up. And we're just taking out like every 10 cents all the way up until eventually we got to a level that we liked, 73, 75, and we're able to get out of that one. So the TQQs, I mean, just another one. And we talked about this. You guys wanted more futures trading. I mean, this is my #1 instrument for the month, and we're having our best month. So you know, we've already got, this is a $2.30 move right there on the TQs. So almost top to bottom right there if you still were able to hold on to it. Okay, here comes Apple right now. Let's go. There's our fill. We just need a little bit more here on AAPL. As like we're saying, man, Real Trading, our #1 sponsor. So Real Traders Unite. This is just another trade for Apple. We talked about shorting in front of VWAP. We get the trade. We put the money where the mouth is. And right now, we'll see if, you know, where exactly this name goes. Looking to get out in the 80s. We just talked about that. Looking for a little retracement. I mean, I've scalped out a lot of this trade already. We've scalped out of almost, honestly, like 80% of this trade. So now we'll just hold on to a little piece of this and then see where we can go. Once we're exited this, we'll be close to the top we've been at all day. So yeah, that's that for now. But yeah, again, good trading day.
NVIDIA.
You know, not as good as it was Friday, I feel like, when I look at the office, but you know, NVIDIA's still flying.
And oh yeah, NVIDIA is absolutely flying. What's interesting is Tesla's now stalling out a little bit up here. Sorry, I was just on Microsoft, but Tesla stalling out at the top, while NVIDIA just made another press. So we're looking dip buy on NVIDIA at this point. But Tesla, this is now the second time it has failed a 252 break, and it's hunting for a third. At some point, if it can't chew through 252, gonna look for a bit of reversal. It's just so far above that 250 level. So we're probably not gonna get a dip buy that we're gonna like over there in Tesla. If we don't get it, we don't get it. But NVIDIA, now 124. There are no red candles since about 11 o'clock on a 15-minute. And just into that 124, I think it's going to give an opportunity for a dip here at that even dollar and then look for the first chance. That previous high was 123.25. So if it gets back in there, I think that's where you look for a dip buy. I want something on this fade. If we lose 20,000, so outside of looking for strength in Microsoft and NVIDIA, maybe to dip buy, if we can even get it, it would be if we lose this 20,000, fail this break at the top on the NASDAQ, what do I like short if I can't get VWAP on, say, Apple, which I do like? The name that's coming to mind, I only saw this when we started the afternoon show, because hugging VWAP was Affirm. This is down 1%. It did not have a good day today, obviously. Failing this trend line that it was on before, failing underneath $30. So breaks this low, holds underneath. That's a stock that is trending down, at least as far as I can tell. So this is the one that's coming to mind. It's not a ton of movement on it, but it's pretty clearly to the downside. So shorting this into VWAP is the first thing that I am seeing. So as it pops up, I'm going to look for this to get into these 60s and 70s to short VWAP on Affirm. All right, here's Tesla trying to take that high again. The question becomes, can it actually hold above 252 this time? It's wicked it, gone to the quarters, and failed twice now. If it does it again, I'm going to play the other way into this 250 if we're not going to get the dip 250 trade.
Yeah, I'm looking, I'm starting to look, I'm looking long. I mean, we've already, it's a good thing we talked to you guys about that Apple and that we are almost out of it because it's starting to come back upside a little bit. As I start to really scan through some more trade opportunities here as we go. I mean, Meta, oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Oh, yeah, NVIDIA, I mean, hard to hold that. I mean, it did come back, and we could have even reloaded this at 120.50 right there at lunchtime and didn't and missed it. So that would have been a great trade, but, you know, still really good trading here on Meta, on NVIDIA today as it just continues to tear faces off. And I mean, we wanted to buy that name as it was dipping down in. So I think that that was a good one. And again, a great idea there on the sticky note today for Meta. I hope some of you guys were able to take some advantages of that and take that. So let's see if there's anything else moving here. We already have Apple. We talked about that. Is Uber doing anything? This is a name that was going around today. No, it's flat today. Okay, so, underneath VWAP. So this is, again, just coming up as a possible short idea. Underneath VWAP, but I don't want to look short. I'd rather wait for pullbacks. Like, for example, if the futures pull back to the 50 period moving average, I'd buy that. So I'm trying to find names that are similar sort of in that vein where if we pull back, then I'll buy it, right? And so like right now, some of these names as we start to scan through are not it. So we'll have to wait to see if anything happens through there. I'm going to set up, I think, the scanner to play nice with Prosper Pro, or at least set up a Prosper Pro scanner, which is software that we have, so I can flip through all these names with you, so we can all sort of have an easier look, so I don't have to keep clicking this. Mara, again, this could be it. Not strong though today, but strong off the bottom for sure. We've talked about a 23 break. That was the trade that we missed. I couldn't believe we were beside ourselves when we missed that. But it did come back in and just gave it to you again anyways, down here to 23.40. So maybe you wait for that or a Mara break. You're now above 50 period VWAP and all of that. So a break above 24.80 could be something as we watch out for Bitcoin. I almost said 65.7, but 67.5. 67.5 right now. Yeah,
we're having problems if we're at that level.
Are we? I mean,
65? No, I just mean because we're like that would be fast.
Oh yeah. Dropping down 2,000. Yeah, I think that could happen. We'll see. Still waiting to hear. Oh yeah, it's happened before easily. And then there's ARM again, a trade that I wasn't here when this was happening, but at the same time, it didn't get as low as 162, and 162 is the price that we had written on here. So I feel like instead of wasting our time, I'm just going to wait for 162 on ARM. It has replaced itself with a VWAP trade possible right there as it's weaker. So as we pick on Apple, we could pick on ARM as well, down 0.6 or up 0.6, but against a market that's up 1.6. So this, again, will be another short candidate for me now. So even though despite putting down long on here, I wrote this sticky note, of course, 8 hours ago. So you'll be able to figure out, that these things can change. So now I'm actually thinking of ARM as being relatively weak. So I would look for either a bump back up here into 165.50.
Yeah, that is weak.
Or it's only at 0.4. So I feel like AMD was that?
It was AMD just made a bounce.
So it's still up.
Not anymore. Like AMD was relatively weak, but I feel like it's made some kind of a shift and looks a little bit better. ARM looks okay for weakness. I was looking at Micron. That wasn't really all that weak. That's kind of a strong name out there. So lower high of sorts here on Affirm. It just popped into, this is 29.60. So once, twice, just popped into 29.60, found resistance. So I shorted the mid 50s in here. We'll just get on the bid in the 40s, see where this one wants to head for us. Tesla
where does he get his start?
Is still, there it is. Like it just wicked 252 again. Like it was showing strength, about to break higher. Now all of a sudden your lower highs and underneath that 252. So, Tesla continuing to fail this 252, even when it looked good and volume looked good. You're starting to show some signs of weakness. So the only new trade for me right now is Affirm. We're still waiting on anything from AMC. For anyone that's if you're tuning in right now, debt restructure AMC, it's still only T1. Wow, okay. This is taking a while on AMC. There's no guarantees when this is going to open up. And like I said, I would usually bet money that a stock like that's going to reopen at some point today. But you're running out of time. It's kind of frustrating. I want to see that go T2, T3 so we can get it reopened. So Tesla, still looking for the buyers to show up above 252, which they absolutely have not. Pretty Panda saying the weed names are making one last push. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, maybe. Oh, CGC still hasn't broken 8, has it? The volume is so bad.
11%.
Like this morning, I'm pretty sure I said this because this was like 11:30. I was like, $8 could be a breakout. Maybe this is in reaction to the news over the weekend and Kamala. Maybe the Dems have a better chance now. Regardless of the reason, this is a name that could be in the midst of it's a double top break at 8, which I would like. It's like a scalp trade into 818, 820, which is Thursday's high, and then maybe a secondary breakout there. So you have a bit of a double top. The problem would be all this volume, which is just dying down here. Breakout without volume is a recipe for failure. But I like the chart. If things can actually pick up going into this 8 level, that's a trade I kind of like this morning. But on this kind of volume, I don't love it as much as I would have at about 11 o'clock when it looked like it was imminently going to break out on big volume. So No, I'm excited if this follows through and maybe gives us something to trade this afternoon, but I'm not going to jump over to a high break. Just not looking that great. Sorry on CGC. If any of the other names are going, let us know.
Yeah, I think if that can get up to like 11 or 12 bucks, I'll just sell everything I have at a severe discount and just get the heck out of that one because it's split too much, getting destroyed. CGC and TLRY. All right, I forgot we didn't even talk about this trade. I only have 2 trades on right now, and it's Apple and Starbucks. We never got asked about that. Although I'm long Starbucks, and we keep talking about that that trade that we had from last week. We're just going to hold it forever. I got stopped out here when we broke this 77.25 area. So, but we only got stopped out of 75% of our trade. So we were out and out. So we were making good money there, and then not good money, like 10, 15 cents. Then it breaks higher and we lose our 10 cents. So that was like 1-to-1. I was like, okay, let me get out of 75% of what we had left. But we held our other 25%. And that, we basically made the high. And then look what happened. Came right back into view up. So where we sat and got some out at 76.90. So I'm just realizing that we are sort of hovering here right now on Starbucks. So I'm going to put a bid out here around 93, 94. If we can get that, that'll be fine. We're flat on the stock. So this is going to be a zero-sum game for me today on Starbucks because we did get stopped out right there. Look, if it comes back down to here, we'll be up on it. But either way, we did get stopped out. Womp womp. That sucks because that was a spot where we could have held out. Like we could have held out for a little bit higher, but that would have been 20 or 30 cents. And again, when it was on its way up, we were above everything. I liked the short there. And then it was probably, normally when I'm making trades that I can't understand on the 1-minute chart, it generally is because something was here on the 20. And I'm just wondering if we had sort of stretched it out into here and looked at these levels for 20s and 30s right there for Starbucks. Plus we had that wick up to the top side of 43. So either way, we always get out on the quarter breaks. That's probably what that mistake right there was. But anyways, a good hold. At least we held some back. Now that I look at those levels, let's go out there and put a bid on Starbucks. If you're wondering where my out may or may not be, we're going to put one at 95. I did have a bid at 66s. Which I guess is just near that bottom there. Yeah, 77. I don't know. We had a bid down here at 60s. So that was another look. Apple's a little Mary Lemieux action. Apple's kind of just chilling out right now. Man, I mean, honestly, debating just taking another 50 period and grabbing another 30 cents. So that is probably something we should do. That's at 07. So let's put a bid down here around 07 and take another piece out. Hopefully Apple can get in. But we're approaching that view up on what seems to be a pretty strong stock here into the afternoon. Like it's not going down, right? So it's trying to hold. Yeah, that's about it. I don't see anything else. If there's anybody,
sorry,
did it open?
GameStop. Sorry, apologies. AMC is the one that's halted. GameStop broke high of the day there. So I'm gonna assume this is on nothing but sympathy. For completely no reason, it's going to start to squeeze. It's only up 3% here on GameStop. My approach to this would be if nothing happens on AMC and this gets to Friday's high, I'm going to go pay for locates because I had no reason to pay for them this morning and the stock wasn't doing anything. But if it gets up to like 26.25, that would be a look for the fade zone for myself. And this is on the assumption that AMC does nothing. If AMC opens up and just starts squeezing, maybe you don't fight it. But until we see something distinct, I would look at that 26.25. If it decides to just float up into that level, I'd probably take a shot at it. It's going to be when I go ahead in a couple of seconds and pay for the locates. I'm willing to bet you there'll be like 1/8 of 1 cent per share for us because that's what they always are on GameStop. But yeah, sympathy move forward to the upside. You might see other squeeze names or meme names going up. If so, safe bet is only because of what happened to AMC. So range in here on Affirm, you got 29.42 bottom, you got 29.55 top, and you have 29.60 as resistance. If it breaks that, I'm going to wait around for VWAP in there. Still looking for NVIDIA to make a pullback into the previous high. It's getting pretty close, down at 123.5. This is 123.25, or we have that 122.5 level that'll be in play for us in and around VWAP. So still looking for a better dip buy opportunity there on NVIDIA, but I'm going to go pay for locates on GameStop. Again, it's got no news. It's just up because of a debt restructure on AMC. So maybe some shorts getting out of the way covering because they think AMC might do something stupid.
Yeah, it could be some advantageous trading happening over there. Yeah, someone has to wake up that guy so he can start tweeting again. All right, there it goes, man. Apple right here. Let's just drop some more money down. I mean, we talked about how proud we are of the show that we're able to bring to you. And I talked about that conversation that we had about how hard it is to find traders that are putting on winning trades. I mean, we just talked about getting out right there again, and there's the fill out right there, another one for 30 more cents. And then we also talked about Starbucks, where we wanted to get out of that one. So there's another 95 right there coming through for Starbucks. And they're only 20 or 30 cents, and I wish the market would do something else right now. And I'm going to look for another big trade. But anyways, there's back-to-back jacks, as we gave you.
Another one.
Right? So Travolta's like, that's enough. Stop that. We know there's some more trades coming. All right, so here comes NVIDIA. Look at this, pulling right back down into the 50-period moving average. Still looks pretty good because we have a strong market right now, but a little stair step, making me a little nervous. I'd rather we didn't sort of get this retest and then the drop back down. But if we want to try to trade NVIDIA, that's something that we should be looking at right now if we want something that could be relatively strong, that's for sure. NVIDIA does suit that. And I mean, look at the last time. We're all right here, all right now. So NVIDIA coming into play. Man, we also did, a lot of damage as well today on Amazon. We're taking some NVIDIA right now. So we're taking some longs. We'll hold out for a little bit of time here. Obviously, we are starting to head down to the downside a little bit. I think like for NVIDIA, a key area for us to maybe look to get out. Yeah, breaking that 50 is pretty nasty. Then you have levels down to 122. So that's 123.20. That's pretty good area. Where are we at now? We're at 50s right now. Yeah, like right here is a decent spot in order for us to get out 123.20. Okay, so if we break out through 123.20, let's get out. But we are starting a brand new position in my number one P&L name today. It's going to be NVIDIA. We're going to take the long here off the 50-period moving average and give it, 20s, give it 40 cents. Looking to average in to some of it back down in near the 50s, which we almost got to right there.
There you go. And I like it. I'm looking for a little bit more of a dip, but not too much more in NVIDIA myself. I do like that. And I see a lot of people like complaining about AMC. Again, news halts can do this. They can be longer than 5 or 10 minutes. It should open back up today. But here's Tesla right back into this 252. It's like once, twice. I had the breakout. It did not make that break or continuation. It couldn't get past like 225.42 is the actual high that I love that number. If it just can't break 252 this time, I guess we're going to short it. We thought we'd get a pullback into 250. It decides to bounce off 251 instead. So it might just be a scalp trade until we hit power hour. I don't know. But right, it's just showing you 251, failures at 252. So that seems to be the trade on Tesla if it's not going to do anything even bigger than that. While it makes that move, AMD almost into VWAP here, not quite, but getting pretty close to come back into VWAP. So that's the other name that I have up. If we get a bounce off VWAP, all good. Affirm just kind of sits in the same range. You just ticked up and filled 56s in here. So there's a 60 level. Weak name trending down, just looking for the consolidation short and play off to the low of the day. Double, triple bottomed on Friday. If it does a double bottom, that'll look pretty good to me. So NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla at that 252 as we speak. Here's the next break of Tesla. If it cannot make a fresh high and gets back underneath 252, I'm looking for the wick top retracement back into that 251 pure scalp trade. Still think we want to be getting a 250 dip or a VWAP dip. But if you're not getting that, failure off this high is probably worth a shot there. Jaspreet Singh, is it good news for AMC or bad news? I mean, if you're able to restructure debt, allows you to operate longer, generally speaking, can be good, but at the same time, if you keep having to issue and dilute to do it, it's not all smiles. But the longer they can play out the string with the short float, it gives the apes an opportunity to push the stock higher if they're never going to sell it. So I don't think it's as simple as saying good or bad. And to be honest, when you're trading, I almost don't care. Like for AMC, you know what? We'll just go over this now before it even opens up. This is 515. Resistance, support. If it opens up holding above 515, I don't care what I think of the news. I just want to be long. I think you try to keep it simple. Like that's a clear resistance level that was previous support. If there's buyers above it on any reopen, I want to look for the long. And news just gives you the volume in this particular case. Just no idea when we're going to open up or whether we'll even be able to trade it. It's 240. The thing's been halted for like an hour now, which is pretty long considering we know what the news is. So your guess is as good as mine with that regard. Because as far as I'm concerned, everyone knows what the news is at this point.
So I just, I was going to go over some AMC as well. And remember, guys, we had talked about this. It's not like the easiest day today. So, just take the profits when you see it. And I just saw Starbucks get filled up there as well. So nice move in back into VWAP. So we'll take another one right there as we'll ride the bear on that name. And then this is why we take risk off the board when we see it. We talked about putting on the biggest position of the day notionally on Apple there, then getting out of like 80, 85% of it. We were out of 80%. We got another 10% right there as we get out of Apple. And we discussed that. So there's our last hit. And guess what? Absolutely no reloads. We took that trade there. We put it back in. And that's that. Trying not to be that stubborn trader that we can be sometimes about going back and forth. And like I said, when I look down and like, okay, it's not been super clean. Some of these trades today feel very, not lucky. When you've been sitting here and you think you kind of know what you're doing, it's not really super lucky. But at the end of the day, you got to have some kind of luck on your side to put together some winning trades. And for right here on NVIDIA, it looks like I may give back here about that 6 or 7% on NVIDIA. It's coming back down. Here comes AMC. You said is open finally? All right, 537. That's probably a good long up here. I like it against 520.
Wow, usually you will get a chance at this in terms of letting you know when they're going to open up. Like they'll go to T1, T2, T3. They just decided it was going to randomly open. That seems a little bit nonsensical, but it is what it is. It's open now. Trying to add. Can't get more. 555 is holding. Was able to get some at 42s. Resistance is probably obviously $6 is going to be a big one on AMC, but $5.70 is the local high up here. So if it punches through that, then AMC could absolutely fly. Still I tried to add to this at 550. It wasn't able to get a fill. So surprise open on AMC. That's a bit weird. Usually you see it a little bit different than that, but let's go to the upside, Apes.
Yeah, monster trade over here again. Let's just face slap it up. There it goes, man. This is what I'm saying. Have the ability to pivot. If something's not working out, go to something else and be able to see what exactly is happening. And there goes nice move on AMC. And we're prepared, man. We're here for it. We're out. We're going to take some out at 75 as we sit there. And let's go, man. Let's fire off that hot dog cannon because there it is, man. Whether or not you like popcorn, hot dogs, nachos, whatever you like at your local AMC, it is now brought to you by Trader TV Live because that's a banger of a trade right there going long on reopen and boom. I was going long no matter what the price. So we got a lot of shares there. We punched in and there it goes. Nice upside move for AMC. Again, we're out. So I only have a piece left. I'm not even sure how many we had in the first place. I'm going to say we have less than 10% now of AMC as we're out of it. And we'll now wait to see if we want to get some more in here for AMC. Would rather play it off of a kind of a halt right now. But whatever, man. Our stop on this is going to be where we got in. So I can't, again, good trade here. GameStop trying to move around. Maybe that's something we can look at. Let's just put our stop in right there. If we get stopped, we get stopped on AMC. But there it is, man. It is a good one. And it is another one right there. So good trade on AMC. I hope some of you got that. NVIDIA downside push there. So we do get stopped out of NVIDIA. So one good trade on AMC on that reopen, and then this one bad again as we break through the 50 period and NVIDIA continues to go down. But we got out of the way of that one when it broke through that 20 level right there that we had sort of talked about. Remember, we gave you sort of that area of concern. So a little bit of a save there. But yes, sir, it's AMC, and I'm pretty sure that all of you like this trade.
Yeah, it gave a great, if you took the reopen, it looks like it opened at 548 if you had a market on open order. At least that's what this is showing me. I can't make heads or tails of this wick to the downside. I don't think it actually traded down to 510. So my assumption is that it did not. It then retested the 50. I just got a 53 and it's about to break the high. If it gets to $6, I want to take that out. But as it failed back underneath 570, I went over to GameStop. GameStop was pulling off the highs, so if I short one of these, it's going to be a pullback on GameStop if AMC can't take the high. So it hit 26 even, pulled right back into the 80s. I got the 80s, and I'm going to give it to the high of the day. If there is a pull all the way back in, forget about VWAP here. That's just a line. I think 25.40 is the key pivot for me. So 25.40 to 25.60 is going to be where we want to be out of this thing. A lot of times I'll always look to the sympathy name, go short the one that doesn't have the news as opposed to the one that has the reason for being up. And that's why we went over to GameStop. Even if AMC pulls back into VWAP or something, we'll be short GameStop instead. Just feel like that's a little bit lower hanging fruit. And while this was going on, Tesla probably gave what we were looking for, but no, it's not. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, if you shorted Tesla, you'd be in the money maybe like 20 cents or so. But bigger moves happening here in both AMC and GameStop. We're short GME, still have a piece of AMC, but we scalped most of it out here and looking for this pullback into hopefully VWAP.
All right. Yeah, like we had just mentioned, all this. Oh man, that's too bad because there goes NVIDIA back up to the upside again. Oh man. All right. Well, it looks like we got stopped out by a couple pennies there, and that is what's going to happen to me sometimes. But look what's happening right now. This is a prop up one again. Look at Starbucks going back down to the downside as we talked about, shorting that one, getting stopped out of a bit there. But you could see a nice move now in for Starbucks. We did take a quick advantage of that. Maybe we should not have, as it dropped right into VWAP, and we quickly put a bit out and got filled onto that one. We will still watch out. We are almost out of AMC. If AMC breaks where we're long, which is right here, then we're going to get out. So just giving it a couple more spaces here for us on AMC. And again, you know, quite another positive name as we got out at the very high for some reason, and not just a 75. And we were sitting there at 75, and I told you guys we're at 75. So we managed to get that fill. And again, with options and all that, I just looked there, it goes breaking back down below. So we will hit out a big props for that one because that was a great trade there on AMC. And again, like I was feeling that this could be a trade that's really chased. So watch out here. Could get bought up obviously at any time, but VWAP right now is 520. You got to be careful with that because there's a lot of volume that just come in now. So very much skewing it. Before the halt, 501, 502. So again, as you keep restructuring kind of a crappy business, all you're doing is taking on more debt. So just remember that. You guys, it's been a good trade. I mean, you could have been long down here at $3. Nicely done while all that GameStop stuff was happening.
Yeah, it's actually held pretty well.
Yeah, but still that 575, right? I mean, again, that's kind of what I was saying. Like,
you've been to the theater.
We were just there.
Yeah, but which theaters do you go?
We don't have AMC.
I know, but like you just here.
Cineplex, I don't know. I don't think that's all that we have.
Is that we don't have anything else? I thought we had something else. Is it Landmark? Whatever.
No, well, there's Independence. There's
Independence, I guess.
There's Independence.
But yeah, there used to be an AMC like 10 minutes that I used to go there all the time, and now it's a Cineplex. I haven't been to the theater in a hot minute. So I got out of AMC as well. I think that halt price, the halt is at 513. I mean, if it goes back to the halt level, that would make a lot of sense for a potential dip buy. So call it the teens. If we get back there, we'll go take a look. We're able to get the 60s, 50s on GameStop. At this point, I'm going to have eyes on AMC. If AMC reclaims that 570 punch out, if AMC keeps falling down, look for the retracement right back into that previous high. So we punched short when AMC lost that high of the day right there at the 80s, and we'll ring the register on GameStop, which is just a sympathy play after all. You know, more and more debt, all that good stuff. It is what it is. But AMC certainly giving it back. It could not hold on to that bottom. Yeah, that's a bad wick. There's no way it traded down to 510 on that reopen. I mean, come on, the volume would be much bigger if it had moved that far. But if it gets down to that halt price, you know, buy the dip into previous resistance, turning into potential support. As Sean said, VWAP, I'm not going to pay as much attention to VWAP in a situation like this. Back over to Tesla, as we'll let this one calm itself down a bit. Yeah, Tesla just slowly grinding higher. Not much going on there. Unless you're in a long off 251, don't want to be grabbing it off of that high. And there's opportunity cost for you. So there's 123 bouncing on NVIDIA. Maybe we'll get another chance at that level. But when AMC reopened, we kind of went to that in GameStop. And I missed my dip buy on NVIDIA. Maybe we'll get it again.
Yeah, I hope so. That's too bad because, again, you know, what we had on NVIDIA, I mean, would have been just that. You know, we would have had something special again because we would have been able to make money on NVIDIA and AMC, but unfortunately our NVIDIA did hit our level, which is okay. I mean, we could have, in hindsight, of course, waited for that even dollar level, but we got out on a 20 break, saving ourselves 20 cents. I mean, if that breaks lower, then I'm in trouble because I think that doesn't stop until 70s, maybe even 50s, 200 period there and VWAP. So again, I'm not going to short it, but that would be not a horrible look, shorting it against a 50 period moving average. Psych, it is a horrible look. 4.75%. I'm not going to short that against that market. I'm only looking long. All right, JP Morgan, let's have a quick little look here. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say. I felt like, so I've sort of scrapped that whole the leaderboard thing because honestly it's getting a bit repetitive. What I wanted to do was more just tell you guys, because there's so many different types of traders, and I feel like we have so many different kinds of traders here that it's like, if I just tell you that, hey, like, 50% of the office is up and 50% of the office is down, like I think that gives a much better feel on, where people are. And just to let you know if it's like been a tough day or not a tough day, because I think that's just a better feel overall than, okay, this, whatever, because we're not showing you P&Ls anyways, right? And so I just wanted to say that today, the market, although it's up here, these are generally kind of hard days to trade because you're not getting instant moves up. It's just kind of grinding. Like in here is great, and I could probably show a lot of good trades in here when the market actually went and broke VWAP and just kept going. But you see all this back and forth, like it's just like what happened to us on NVIDIA there. We gave some back. We're being honest with it. It's still going to be a top stock for me, but we gave some back there, and it's just because it's so choppy. And I mean, right up here, especially when you chop around highs. That's why I was telling you, just a handful of traders today having good days, but at the same time, it's choppy, and you got to pick the right stocks. And I think that's why a lot of you watch the show, find out where stocks are, find out where they're moving. And that's where I want to say, if you have anything there in the chat that you're interested in, we'll definitely have a look with you, because most of the names that I'll look at, you can find here on the sticky note, which was Crowd today, which is fantastic. Tesla, NVIDIA, ARM, and Amazon. So again, my top stocks today, NVIDIA off the sticky note, my number one stock today. My number two stock is going to be the TQQs. I'm here for that, right? Number three for me is going to be Amazon. Again, another name off of here. And then CrowdStrike is a pretty good name around these parts as well. So that's been a very, very good stock today. CrowdStrike. We were waiting for a 300 level. That never came close. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was a great trade, right?
What's weird about it is it was such a good short. And don't get me wrong, like the longs worked on the SSR bounce, but my goodness, it was such a good short all day long. We're going to go to Darren in a quick second. It was such a good short on CrowdStrike. Well, I'm not mad about not shorting it at the open. If I have a regret, it's not shorting VWAP, because we anchored ourselves to shorting this thing off of Friday's levels. And 275 right here at VWAP, it seems obvious in hindsight. And, a lot of times that's going to happen to you. We just finished the morning show, and then it just broke down so easily. It's not doing anything right now. This is why we're overlooking at GameStop and AMC in this moment. I like CrowdStrike. It was good for some long opportunities, catching some dips and just scalp trading it. But I don't know what you do with it here. It's not at a key bottom. It's not at a key resistance level. You're just diddling in the middle. I'm going to go back over to GME and AMC. AMC recovering a bit, so might have to jump out of this GME. Still be a winner, but AMC's running again. Let's go to the desk.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm almost finished. I don't need to double fist water, but you gotta stay hydrated. That's what it's all about here. And we're actually, look, when you talk about that news of Benzinga, when there was about, I don't know, call it like 5 minutes of opportunity before this thing halted to the upside. For you to grab that news, and I understand how that's obviously risky, debt restructure, like what do you want to do with that trade? It initially moved to the downside, then came back up, and then snapped back, made that low. But the second time it took out $5 was pretty sick. And even then, once you knew the news, you saw the liquidity grab underneath, you probably could have just had this high break. It would have gone instantly into a halt to the upside. So there was that chance to trade this before the news did drop. And I think a lot of times the traders, they want to wait for something to happen. But if you've got your ear to the ground, you had a couple of minutes, and if you're biased to the long, if you're looking for squeezes, that's obviously risky in a situation like that. You probably had your stop run once if you had the wherewithal to maybe jump in again or take it when it took out the high and then give it another try. you would have been good to go. And I don't mind taking a trade multiple times. You know, like you'll take it up here, stop, you'll take it there for scalps. Like it's fine. If you only have one shot at it, maybe just put a wider stop and hope and pray and all that good stuff. But with this pushback in, it's trying to make a lower high. My plan of action with GME is all of a sudden, if it breaks 570, I punch out. If it doesn't break 570, if this gets right back up to this 2580 liquidity zone, I'm just going to peace out of the trade altogether at this point. So I see Huma, dang, Neil shorted AMC. That's cold-blooded. I did not short AMC. And so I'm short GameStop. I did not short AMC. Sean didn't short AMC. I don't think anybody shorted AMC in that move. Red means covering a long position. So if you see on my board or on my chart or on Sean's chart, the green can mean either of two things. I could be going into a long position or I could be covering a short position. It's just a buy execution. But red means a sell of a long position. If we're short a stock, it's going to always show up, well, at least for the two of us anyways. I think Sharif and Adara. Purple. Well, that's purple short. I have not shorted AMC. I just decided GameStop on sympathy. Had no reason to be up. It wasn't the one in the news. I did that with BlackBerry when Roaring Kitty was doing his thing with GME. I was shorting BlackBerry because it would just go up for no other reason than it was a squeeze name. So, you know, they're easier to play. If one turns and fails the high, usually I can just punch short, stop at the high of the day, and keep it relatively simple. Whereas opposed to, where am I shorting AMC? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that today AMC, I mean, it was good where it opened. I was looking at CrowdStrike right here, 265. It was kind of good where we opened up there and got a lot of volume
and now
off that first candle there. And then it just, you know, you got that sort of exhaustion up to the upside there. I feel like it tried to halt again. Didn't, and then once that happened, all the way back down, because again, you only need 50 cents, right? 55 cents on an up halt. So you almost got that. You went from 40 to 75, so you got 35 cents. That would have broke through $6, another halt. And I think that that's probably what happens here near the end of the day. So look out for, again, another break, like maybe around 560 to go long here on AMC, because maybe that starts a run through 6, which should, again, the halt bands are what they are, but you know, you're going to have to get a move above $6 now, unless it maybe even halts lower or makes a move and then rips back up. But then at that point, we'll all be watching it. So if that does come through, there's a nice little drop down on Starbucks.
So go ahead.
Yeah, no, oh no, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just still kicking myself over this NVIDIA trade because we got out of it, which would now be nicely in the money. Because our biggest position was put on down here at 35.36. So it would have been a nice little area where it would be now above where we got long. But now I'm almost thinking, it looks, I said, I don't want to short this thing, but look, it just keeps on bouncing off the 50-period moving average. So potentially the short is there. So nice move there on NVIDIA. And I was going to look at Reddit and Coinbase and Meta and all of that.
There's a seller on this Serve stock.
Okay, yeah.
So Serve, first of all, Serve's not having a good day. Okay, well, that's not technically true. It's gapped up, but since trading has opened, it's more of a down day. But it's still up 17%. But on the offer at $9 is 300,000 shares on, whoops, I just went too far. There you go, 300,000 shares sitting on EdgeX, and it cannot seem to push through it. We have to pay to be able to short this, but I saw a couple of people asking about Serve, and you can see it's rejected 9 on a couple of breaks. If that guy if that order gets filled, it doesn't mean someone's going short. The stock's up 17%. It could just be someone getting out of a long position. But until it chews through that, I don't know if you're going to have any secondary pushes over there on Serve. So it might not be an opportunity. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm still looking for a chip name or something to short if we lose 20,000 on the NASDAQ. I can't find anything that I'm absolutely in love with. I mean, Intel isn't doing much. As I load it up here, there we go. But what it is doing is at least above VWAP and relatively strong. The only good thing about a potential short is on Friday, this was the bottom of the range, 33.30, and you have the same high. So yes, today it looks relatively strong. Well, it's above VWAP. It's not relatively strong. It's only up 0.5%, but it is at this resistance spot, the 33.30. So I am going to take a shot, I think, at Intel. We'll hang on to GME. I'll keep my eyes on that Serve. But yeah, unless they fill that order, it's probably not going anywhere to the upside. They got to bite through that. Not that it can't bite through 300,000 shares, but clearly you can see it's having trouble.
I was actually thinking about reshorting Apple here. We got stopped out when it took out that VWAP there at 50. But right now, I'm just going to take a starter position here. And again, when I mean starter position, sometimes like a quarter of the position that I'm willing to have. I'll take another piece at 30 here. And I just want to try one more time against that level. I feel like there's a missed opportunity there to short Apple. And it's just like Neil said, if everything is ifs and buts, right? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. So on that note, I'm going to put a bid here at 06 and see if we can quickly rate now. Oh my, there it is. There's a hot dog cannon right there. Just a quick trade. But we will take some more out there. It's 20 cents now in the money for Apple. We put it in there. 20 cents in 20 seconds does the math. Yeah, I'm rich. If I could do that every second. There it goes, 20 cents, 30 cents. Good trade right there. As we will just give, again, props up to anybody that's trailed somehow this Apple trade. I know I executed that real quick, but there it is right there, breaking the 50-period moving average. We just liked the name, and I just thought, hey, we need to be short something. And it was, again, listening, Neil mentioned it there. We knew we wanted to go to Apple. And I'm just scanning for names, man. I mean, I try to make trading and this is part of why, I was opening up offices and helping with that with real trading and things like that, try to make things as simple as possible, right? And try to tell people that trading is not the easiest game around, but if you follow your rules, it can be very profitable. And we've been getting off of our rules sometimes, but I just definitely feel that and can see with the results that when we stick to our rules, good things happen. And right there on Apple, we just reshorted again. You know what? To lose 20 cents on 10% of your trade, then, although this was a starter position, we talked about that. And again, I'll always try to tell you guys when we have a bigger position on versus not. All right. So that's a promise I've made to you. And I said that this position was just a starter position. So we take some out as it was, oh my gosh, now we'll hold 40%, see if we get a bigger move and really hit pay dirt here. So I'm looking at 224.70. That was an area that had stopped before. So if I'm going to trade it like this, that's what I'm going to do. Put a bid there at the 3/4 mark because that's where we go. So, all right, that's the trade that I'm looking for. I don't know what else to do, but there it is right there. We are now 70 cents also with the face slapper that is Starbucks in our pocket here as well. So, yeah, man, so far so good. The day continues to go, and we're continuing to put up some digits here. So just some talk here. Harris is wrapping stuff up.
Apparently enough votes for the nomination.
Yeah, no
That's
surprise
all.
there.
Which, I mean, come on. Like, everyone's made the assumption that it's going to be Kamala. So we got lucky that last market dip. Look, we missed 123 because of AMC. AMC opened up out of nowhere on us, but it came back into the 123 level, bounced again, got teens to 35s. This high here at 123.60, that'll be a scalp out for myself. I mean, I just said underneath the 20,000 level, I wanted to look for something short. So if this works while we're losing 20,000 on the NASDAQ, great. But I wanted to be reversing into something short if we're breaking down under. So I did get Intel just now. It's flat right as we speak, but can't seem to get into these 50s on NVIDIA. GameStop still doing what it was before. AMC no longer even threatening those highs. But I think that one will be okay. But if we don't hold 123, we're just jumping out of this trade on NVIDIA and looking for a place to add to the short on Intel, which we just got into. Let me just show you here. We're on the NVIDIA chart, but Intel consolidating right here in the teens off of that 33.30 high, and we're short right there at 33.15. So we're short one, long the other, but looking for a scalp trade. As long as 20,000 is battling here, I think you want to still look for some longs in strong stocks, but anything that's at a big resistance level or is weak, I want to be playing the short trade on. So as that's happening, I'll give you guys AMC. AMC's still trending lower, but it has bounced once. Okay, VWAP kind of matters here in that it's 530 double bottom. If it bounces off 530 again, I probably just get out of GME, which is already back into 2530. So I think I just sit on VWAP now for GameStop. Yep, it was fun, and the volume's not bad, but it looks as if this might be done on these meme names. So you have the fun when they're there, but hey, the second you see that pullback, you just got to be able to get out. Still pretty good, up 8.5%, but the real volume seems to have come and gone there on AMC. And red, 1010, I'm too scared to short these tops. I mean, it's tricky. I'm assuming you're talking about the futures and not AMC, although you could be talking about AMC. I think you just have to find something that has a good level or is relatively weak, and then that way you'll know what your trade is and you can just define it. Because if we hold this top here and break toward the high, like you still have overhead resistance on the futures, and anything that's already been rejecting their high, gives you a trade worth taking. But we'll see. Like, I could easily lose on Intel short, and then scalping out of NVIDIA long could have been the wrong thing to do. But I see some lower highs in here. It's like 3 lower highs into the same bottom. That's a bit of a wedge to the downside. That tends to lead me at least a little bit bearish. We're into power hour, so we grab in and out of the scalp trade of NVIDIA. We're into Intel, still holding GameStop. There was something else I was going to look at. I saw you guys putting a bunch of names in the chat. Oh, it was that Serve stock. So remember that 9 seller on Serve? Yeah, they didn't break that 9 seller. Fresh lows on SERV, still up 14%, but just tagged 850 and continues to head down. If I were to see that offer follow it down, well, actually, I haven't paid for locates. I don't know if I would, but if I saw it follow it down, usually it's like a punch short if they're going to follow it. But the seller is still at $9 despite this now cratering. Sometimes you jump in front of size and it doesn't work. If you'd paid for locates here and just done that blindly, there's an easy 50 cents for you. But I don't even know how much they cost because I haven't checked.
Yeah, probably pretty cheap.
It's probably very cheap.
Yeah, it's not super expensive. So, all right, as that move was happening back down to the downside there, we did see a resistance again for NVIDIA, or support down here at 123. So I think we'll try it again if it does dip into this area, kind of where we got stopped out. If we can pick up some more down there, that'd be all right. Apple also falling into its low again, debating taking something here. This could be a good trade area. We did talk about bidding into the 60s, so I'm still in and around there, but a little bit of a push. I mean, we just got that low wick into 80s, so I'd like to see us take that level out, and then we'll move from there. So let's see if we are lucky enough to do that, get something in the 70s. We may or may not be bidding 75s right here on Apple. So, just missed us. Not that time. There's 45 cents right there for us on Apple. And again, yeah, pretty good trade for me into that name. So we'll continue to watch out for Apple here as, just paid out real nice. So we got stopped out right there. Apple now marching to a beat of its own drum downside right now because the futures aren't doing too much, but they do I guess they kind of look similar down here, but there it goes. Another one, Apple, another top name here. So happy with the trading on that. And now we can hold. I don't have any more bids, so if we can break that 200 period, that'd be nice. We started the short, though, an hour ago, and that was not great until we it was great, actually. It was a top name, and then got stopped out of our last 10%, put it back on. Now we're back in right there. And look at that area of getting out right there in the 70s, 75s. We did talk about that. My wife is sending me all these places. We got a lot of suggestions from people where we're going to London to get some restaurants coming through. The Bank of England apparently has a restaurant in it as well. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll see. I just want to go there.
You ever been?
I've been to London, but a long time ago, when I was a wee one. Right there. Okay, Starbucks continuously going down right now. Yeah, I stopped in at London when we also went to Ireland. I went on top of Guinness there.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic trip as well, man. Ireland, Dublin is fantastic. You want to party somewhere? Dublin is a jam. You think St. Patrick's Day is,
obvious.
Like St. Patrick's Day is maybe every day, every Friday, Thursday. Probably get it going on Tuesdays. My memory is foggy from days of Dublin, but that was a great time. I mean, going into bars and just seeing fiddlers and all that kind of crazy stuff, absolutely insane. It was so
What's
much fun
weird?
there. And they can drink the what out of you. So.
I just watched Patriot Games this weekend, which I hadn't seen that movie in 15 years. That's the Jack Ryan one where literally it's like he's up against IRA.
They're not messing around.
No, I mean those back in the day, those Jack Ryan, everyone probably now knows the Amazon thing, but I'm talking about Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan. I don't know what made me want to watch that movie. I'm like, whatever, I can't move around. So I checked it out, but it's a good one. That said, hopefully people start going to the movies again to bump AMC to the upside. No, it isn't. AMC bouncing off VWAP, going to the movies isn't going to matter. But AMC double bottom off 530 here. So VWAP, I said VWAP doesn't really matter, but 530 bounced once when we stopped out of the original long, and then 532 again. It just put in a higher low at 36. I grabbed 38s in here. So we'll see if it can get back into those highs. The volume is tapering off, but just now looking for, you had the news bounce play. Or we've seen this a million times, right? The news bounce and breakout, sometimes you get to trade it up there. But the calm down, double bottom, go long off the double bottom, Surely, I guess you could have held it and just guessed at the number of 530 before, but you don't know until it bounced. I don't know until it bounced off 530 twice that 530 is going to be a level. It's just, if you can divine that, then, good on you. But until it makes that double bottom, I'm not into it. We just grabbed 38s. If we break 30, I'm out of the trade. Pretty simple there. And just to go over GME, thank you. GameStop just tagged under its support, 25.26. I did not get filled. I'm just going to get out of it here. It pretty much got to the target. I'm just going to sit on the 37 and see if we can get a fill. So GameStop did the retracement. It was a simple, not simple, but it was just a punch short when AMC lost the high. So we lost this false breakout. Reopened, tried to break that 570. You saw it all trading above. When it came back in, just went short on GME. And now we just look to get out of that trade. NVIDIA still not going to give us 123 again, it seems. We can wait. We can be patient. That's the level. It's bounced off it twice. You bounce a third time. Going to try to go long there. And then Intel. Here, Intel, we're still short Intel off of this high. I know Intel's at the high of the day, but resistance. I'm not going to count how many times it's turned at 33.30. 33.30 breaks, I'm out. 33.30 holds, then we're holding short in Intel. Only one that I could find that was at a good resistance spot, at least as far as the chips go. I considered ARM, but ARM, okay, well, before ARM did that move, just the lack of anything, there's no real key level on ARM, it's not at VWAP, I'd just be in the middle of the ether. I guess you could have had like a flat bottom break trade at 64, but at the time, it didn't seem like a good level that I would have liked. But it is really weak today.
ARM?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for 62 to buy that. If that comes down there, it's getting close.
I don't know why I have 61 half of the line as a line on my chart. Same.
All right, so what I'm trying to do now is just give areas, and then if they hit them, and I'll work it on there, because before I was like really trying to pick like the exact spot, so I'd be like long Palantir, and then you just like, it goes down 10 cents and you get out, but like, how am I going to know 10 cents? Like, it's impossible. I don't care what the price of the stock is. Even if the stock is $1, like 10 cents, although it's a 10% move, we've seen stocks go up and down like that, no problem. So, anyways, all right, so just quickly here on Starbucks, I'm going to bid right here. That bottom's 28s. So I'm going to bid 30-something, see if we can grab that, make $1 or so on a little bit under south of $1, about 80 cents there. If we can get something in the 30s, we'll put 80 cents there in our pocket. Starbucks, another positive name for me there. Good out. Again, there's not much more that we can do except for tell you where our outs are, and then when they get hit, we'll tell you that again. You guys were trading with me when 75 filled. So right there, the Piper always, he's in the chat sometimes, and they say that sometimes they miss some of the trades. Well, all of these ones here on Apple we put on together, including this one breaking lower, and then right there, that out as well. So we only have 20, 40, 60, 80, 20% left. But again, it was a smaller position. So, we'll be happy with it. It's a stack up, but it's nothing too great. We have one red name today on the board for myself. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 and 1 today for stock trading, which ain't bad. And at our highest spot pretty much in a long time here on the show. So. Right there, just quickly, that was our Shopify trade. So we thought we were doing pretty good underneath VWAP, right? again, Shopify was red. We had a nice bounce back into that level. And everybody knows how much I am a big fan of Shopify, as we both, I think you own it too, we probably both own it. Long time Canadian.
Yeah, I don't even know what my
company.
price is.
Neither do I. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll have to look it up. I've
owned all of the big. Yeah. I owned Nortel shares.
Oh yeah,
very briefly. If you're it was actually one of the
Research in Motion,
RIM, BlackBerry. I own shares of that as well, and I still own Shopify. Obviously, I don't own any shares of the other. Actually, that's not true. You could still own BlackBerry shares, but I don't.
Yeah, you could. That would be embarrassing.
It work well for me.
I don't know. I have no idea. But watch BlackBerry's probably 100% this year. Okay, so just quickly here, just on Shopify, it might be.
No, it's not. Actually, well,
you look it up. All right, so right there, 62. I have no idea. I just threw that number out. I'm just saying could be. Could be down 100%. All right, so right there, short underneath VWAP for Shopify, and I just want to talk about the trading strategies, right? Again, there it is. This is a trade that we lost on. Obviously, I couldn't have done this live because it was during the middle of the day, but if you are on more Trader TV Live, you'd be able to see these positions fly through, and this was a win until it wasn't. So we actually reloaded. So it wasn't even that good, man, but we just kept buying this 200 period. This is like 15 cents, 10 cents. Then we averaged it back in. This is all a little bit of a hit. That average in is 40s, that out is 54s. So we waited for it to break through 50 to get out, and that was that past level right there. But I learned on this trade as well. And what I learned was, should not. I averaged in above VWAP here 100%. I know I did that trade, and right there, I don't deserve to be red on anything, but that one I do, because that was a trade again where you sort of break your rules, but I'm okay with it as long as you don't put on maximum amount of risk or anything crazy on ideas that you're not 100% certain on. You should be okay. Oh, after all, there's Bitcoin 67.7. IBIT, we had a question earlier from Nimit about different names and whatnot could be coming through for ETHE. And there it is right now. IBIT basically at its day's high. I mean, if you take away that open, once the market opened up, that's 38.80. I feel like a break of 38.80, we go, right? I mean, that's a nice little break there on IBIT. So that would mean that probably BTC, which I have right here. Let me see BTC. Let's drop this out into, oh yeah, my bad. Takes a minute.
Yeah, give it a second. Yeah.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, no, I should have called it. Normally I called up first so everybody can see that I don't struggle with it. But right there, okay, 1 minute chart. So there it is. Yes, sir. So we are right here. This is a 1 minute chart. So this is today. So if you're going to look at that open that we had today, that was 68. So 67,950 or so the high. And right now you're not necessarily that close to it, but $300 away from that break high. I think that's a good short. Apple's starting to go back in right now again. So there we go, man. And shout out to Adara because the hater's going to hate. I know. Just shake it off, Ramin. Shake it off.
Yeah, Ramin.
Right there, another Taylor Swift reference, of course. But coming
Is that
back.
What it was?
Yeah, that's what it was. Both of those were. So there it is right there. 224.70 coming in for Apple. So we already took a piece out right here. We held it. It came right back in with a vengeance, Apple. So maybe the short is going to be right. We are getting close to getting some more NVIDIA shares, or at least a try. So let's put on something here at 26. It is not quite there yet. We will take, again, like 10% of our position right now. If this can come into the teens, then we will put on a heck of a lot more. So getting ready for NVIDIA. Looks like it wants to test that bottom spot again right there. I hope we start to rip up. I mean, sure, it's 10 cents in right now off that last take, but let's see more, obviously, for NVIDIA. But let's not disrespect, especially Dr. Disrespect, this level right there, 123.46. We've just bounced off of the 50 period a whole bunch of times. So we will take our opportunity to look at that and see if we can get a trade or two coming through on NVIDIA. And it looks like we are coming right back up to that level right here. So 46, let's take 20 cents.
Yeah, it came so close. I was sitting at, it doesn't really matter. I was underneath 10s on AMD, on NVIDIA. AMD I'll get to in a second, but 530 gone on AMC, so we took 3 cracks at it.
There it is.
There's a post-news were the better ones to have. If it loses this, I'm going to go right back over to GameStop. If we cannot hold VWAP, then I think this is a short all the way back into 24.90, 25 even on GME. So that's now twice NVIDIA you've done it off 123. I didn't get the fill, but I still think you just got to look for the long on NVIDIA. It's long and strong, and maybe we should pay for. ARM just continues to hold the low. You know what? It's going to be ridiculously cheap. This is no matter what happens on the future and no matter what happens in the other chip names, ARM just seems like it does not have any pep in its step this afternoon. So it's not a good enough excuse that you don't want to have. You got to pay for locates. I mean, it looks pretty good. And that's a pretty decent flat bottom break here to be able to have, if not just a short back into resistance on ARM. So AMC is now starting to give it up a little bit more. As said, I think GameStop can be a re-entry for me here in front of where we got out.
Look, there it is. We got out of half of our trade for NVIDIA as it just ripped up there. That's 20 cents. Like we just put it on, took it off. Now we'll wait to see for that reloaded spot to come back in if we're able to get something down there. So there was just a small trade. We'll see if we can get more coming through. I mean, we'll just, like I said, if we could have an opportunity to put some money in our pocket and then let the rest ride if we're right, fine. But, we still are short the market here because we're short Apple, which continues to hopefully make lows. I mean, there's that good trade right there for us. And then the Starbucks trade continues to work as well, waiting for a break so we can get that fill. Shopify. Let's go over the TQQs. Again, my number 2 name today off of basically one trade. It's going to look like 3, like we have 3 fills there, or 4 fills, but the idea was buying these dips. I mean, look at this. So this is something else that I notice when I'm trading futures is that once the volume dies down, that's when I'm kind of like, it's my time to shine. Like, let the volume die down. Let's find some support and let's go. You know, because that's what I'm saying. Like, fortune favors the bold. And if you want to take some trades, this is not a bad area to do that. Could it break lower? Yes, it can, for sure. But that's where you get stopped out. And we showed you that on Shopify. We showed you where our stop is going to be on Starbucks, so on and so forth. But you got to take some kind of shots at stocks, or else you're just sitting here punching keys. And at the end of the day, you look down and you're like, I've sat here for 8 hours and I'm negative, and I've done that for like 30 straight days. You know, you got to figure out what's working for you and what's not. So some of the trades, I get out of them sometimes early because that's just the way I trade. And I wish I would have held on to this one, but I thought taking $1.50, honestly, was a decent spot there. So we're working on it. We're getting better. We're getting better at that. Quick live real-time look at Starbucks. My stop was 75. You can see this has come back in now. That's still 70s. So let's play the 50-period moving average here and take out Starbucks if we break above this 70 area. So it did drop down. We do have a bid on Starbucks in the 30s. That only got as low as 40s and stopped. Maybe that's our spot, right? So maybe now we can just adjust it, get out here instead of here. Honestly, not much difference. Let's adjust our Starbucks positioning and get a bid out and just get out of it if we can on the low side there for Starbucks. So we just saw it. It just sort of gave its face right there, right? Showed us it wants to stop here. It stopped there for about 10 minutes, couldn't get going, and what a surprise right into past support. So I was waiting for here, 30s. So we'll just go, we'll just up it a little bit, put it at 40, and if we get that fill, then we get that fill, we can celebrate because it's been a good hold for us on Starbucks. Let's just see if it continues to work out. I mean, it's 3:20. I didn't even realize it was that late. I was looking down and was like, is it power hour yet? And it's 3:20.
It's well into power hour. So there's a very big difference between AMC and GameStop and MIRA and Mira. And I think if you can't tell, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to bother counting how many halts. Where's my? I think my halt scanner crashed.
Oh no!
But, there's a halt scanner that actually tells me like how many times. It's just one of the columns in there. But Mira Pharmaceuticals, 11 million float. Short float is like 0.16. None of that matters except for the fact that it is going absolutely nuts. There was a moment, at least a few moments today, where it wasn't going from halt to halt. And that's pretty much gone. Now you've broken through $4 and it's on another rally. 145 million shares. So it's done like 14 times, well, not quite, 13 and a half times its float. So it is churning through the current float. Good luck to anyone trading it. I'm not chasing this top at this time of the day. 481 is the tap and it's halted at 480. So indicated open is not of any use to anybody at this point. Once it gets to about the 5-minute mark, if you want to know what the tap is, I can tell you when it's like a minute before it opens, that's generally the time that you want to look and see where it's indicating the open. What you also can do on Mira is well, at least we can, is I can go to this page, which is our imbalance page, and show you the most recent. So right now it's indicating a buy imbalance of 17,000, now 23. That's generally pretty accurate, at least in terms of direction where it's going to open up. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. AMD is trying to break out this little afternoon triple top here as we go. I don't know if we're going to get that 123 on NVIDIA, but if we can hold 20,000 here and start consolidating above there, AMD's got to push into that high. So we'll see about that. Still in GameStop, AMC still hovering around 525 and still under VWAP. AMC breaks VWAP, we punch out, and no trading on Mira for me, but good luck to anybody out there.
Yeah, so anybody, mirror on the wall. What is a good restaurant in London proper? And right here, so this has been recommended by many. This is a Michelin star restaurant, and it is now, thanks to my lovely wife, reservations secured. So we'll be going to Smithfield right here. And I was looking, I was back one more page here. They had some nice little looks right here to come through. So I don't know, man. This should be real good. I'm liking some of that steak right there with some greens. We'll figure that out. Oh, you got a little bit of an egg action on there coming through. So again, very highly recommended. I want to shout out right there. Anybody in London, let me know what you think about this place. We're going. We're going. We'll figure that out. Thank you to my wife for that as we get excited now. Some reservations starting to get made. You know, the museum, London Museum. I put it to Adam to lose there. We have a lunch date there as well. So
Nice.
that should be a lot of fun. We're doing stuff without the kids. I mean, everything is with the kids, man. Go to see a movie. What movie? Oh, Despicable Me 4. Oh, great. The wife wanted to see something, and I like scary movies, but someone said something about long legs.
Yo,
I don't know.
No, my wife will not watch anything that's a scary movie.
Right,
And
my
I
wife
love horror films.
Okay, so you've heard of
so
that
I've
one?
heard everyone's talking about this long legs. Yo, I love horror films. I'm down to watch that ish.
But someone said that you throw up. Like there's some throw up potential scenes, like where you just have some nasty stuff. Yeah, just close my eyes.
I got an iron stomach. I don't throw up.
Oh, I haven't
thrown up since
I
university.
don't like
the day of my final exam at university is the last time I threw up. And that wasn't even my fault, man. That was the yak. It was the that was the Hennessy. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. NVIDIA just came right back into this 122, and it came in pretty heavy here. So we got filled. We're out in front of that 08, and it looks like it's very, very heavy. That AMD also, that high we're looking at on AMD, it reversed that very, very quickly as well. So I don't know if it's going to hold on there. It broke it almost. There's a huge delay on the orders, by the way. Like you didn't even hear me. No, you didn't even hear me hit a key. I had to stop underneath that low. You guys were watching this live. I had gotten the bid, and it did run underneath my stop. But, it's the time that it takes it to paint on the chart versus when I got out. Because I was already out of that sucker when it lost the bid and was going to show you AMD. But it is what it is. Like, that's just how long it takes to paint the triangle on the chart. But my stop was underneath that support. AMD failed that high and is right back into VWAP. Like, that's insane. We were just there on AMD, and all of a sudden you're now flushing into the downside. I know ARM is, it doesn't, whatever. If I just paid the spread on ARM, we'd be in the short as it broke down. But I was trying to get cheeky and shorted in front of 163.5, and we never got that fill in ARM. So I'll slap the fail on myself. I paid for the locates, didn't actually get the short on ARM, which continues to fall to the downside. That was wild. Let's go to the green screen for Dara.
Let's talk about some of these names on the S&P 500 making some outsized moves to the upside or downside throughout the day that maybe we haven't discussed as much. One of them is Delta, DAL. This one feeling the effects of that system outage on Friday. Had to cancel more than 600 flights today. CEO releasing a statement about 10 minutes ago saying it's going to take a few more days to clear these disruptions. So they are expecting some further improvements, especially by Tuesday and Wednesday to restore operations. So DAL to the downside as we feel the continued effects of those system outages. We have Verizon here, VZ, bringing down the whole communication sector with its earnings down about 6%. They did beat or came in line with EPS, but they missed here for total operating revenue. EPS guidance here maintained for fiscal 2024, 450 to 470 versus the estimate of 458. Last but not least, IFF, International Flavors and Fragrances. This would actually do the upside here, getting this upgrade from Stifle to a buy rating and a $115 price target, for IFF.
I want NVIDIA to start going parabolic immediately, please. All right, so we have a nice little long down here in the 60s on NVIDIA. So we had the same trade that Neil was talking about there. It blew through. We talked about the levels that we wanted to get. But again, on some exhaustion candles there, we wanted to go long on NVIDIA. So we did it, and now we're getting out as it's starting to blow up a lot more than I was hoping. We have Cleveland Cliffs tonight. We have SAP. We have Cadence. We have Zion's Bank tonight. We have a bunch of earnings. Join me and Michael Noss and Adara live on the recap show.
Zion's going to dunk on their earnings.
Yeah, they probably will if their knees can hold out.
Well, he does too many donuts.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is. Nice move up there. Yeah, let's go. We're back in the building here on NVIDIA, man. Nice move back up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 40 cents now in the money as NVIDIA climbing back up to the high side right there. Good out on that one. We are so far so good. I mean, who knows? Hopefully we can get out of that. We're out of more than half of that trade as we try to catch our breath. Nice move up there. 76.75. We actually wound up getting punched out of that Starbucks trade. In the market moving down there, I was hoping that we would have got that fill, but it actually went up right there. So a good little play. Come on, NVIDIA. I'm going to take another out here at 05. We'll put an offer to get that out right now. But yes, sir. Oh, yeah. That's how you make that all back plus right there on NVIDIA. So a good little level coming through. We are only giving this one to 122.50 on that play. So you'll see me get stopped out of that if it does come right back in 122.50. But I'll take another piece out right now. We just got a bunch out at the top there. You saw me doing it. So more outs right there. Another out at 88 as they just boom right there. Look at all these fills above 123 there. So there's our mistake. Not our mistake. We got stopped out right there. Then we bought it back and starting to take some more out, as we say. So, NVIDIA, that was a little bit of fun, wasn't it there? I made $50 on a Jake Paul TKO over the weekend. So I just can't wait. When he fights a real fighter, then I will bet on the real fighter. But until then, if Vegas wants to keep on handing out free Jake Paul money, then we will do that. So that was a good one.
There is an endless supply of people willing to get beat up by that guy to get paid.
Of course, because that's what happens, man. There's so many people out there,
much money out
you know,
there.
and thankfully he's there because he gave this Mike Perry, you know, a chance to actually.
His brother, though, I haven't watched wrestling in a long time. I used to be a fan when I was younger, but I heard that his brother was absolutely killing it.
His brother's a stud
recently. Well, yeah, and you know, shout out to them.
They both are.
Good on them. Good on them. I'm not a huge fan of the whole like Tyson thing because I just don't want to see Tyson. When you're that old fighting, I don't know. There's something about that, and there was my dad.
I bet you he lies down for Tyson.
We'll see. My dad was a huge Sugar Ray Leonard fan, and I will never forget like watching one of Sugar Ray. I think it was his last fight with him, and it wasn't cool to watch. The guy was one of the greatest fighters of all time, and there was nothing fun about watching that guy take that beating. And he was my dad's. After Muhammad Ali, was my dad's favorite. And like even watching my dad watch that fight was hard. I don't want to see Tyson get beat down. But AMD, obviously, if you shorted up there, that would be great. But who knew? So it bounced off 155, and I grabbed it on the way back through, was able to get 22s. That was completely unintentional. It just happened to be the price. I want to try and get some 55s in there again. If we can play back up into the high, we'll go for it. But that was a big pullback in the chips when the market didn't do much and we're still at 20,000. I mean, we're literally at 20,000 again and again and again. Just the same level continues to hold. So if we get back to the top on AMD, we'll go for it. As I mentioned, it's now past 330. Okay, I might still take a shot at ARM. I feel like I might have missed that short, but there's still a little bit of time to short it off this 163.60 level. So you're not going to get VWAP on ARM, and you might not get this flat bottom breakdown. It doesn't feel like that's going to be the case, but one last chance for ARM to get it in. And Tesla, I see Rivian Millionaire mentioning Tesla strong. Yeah, no 250 dip buy. Close, but no cigar. And now once again, Tesla right back at the highs. So it just doesn't want to give you the 250. See, NVIDIA gives you everything you want, but Tesla, no 250 all afternoon. Good level. Maybe we'll get a chance to play off of that tomorrow morning. And yes, Mira did open, then Mira halted. I'm sure it opened again. I'm going to guess it halted. Yeah, there we go. Mira opened, halted. Mira opened, halted. This time it's halted to the downside. Like I said, I'm not touching it, nor would I be chasing it. 427, currently 430, flat tap. This could be back at VWAP. It could be back at 360. It could be at $7 for all we know. And look out for this in the aftermarket. You know, sometimes if it breaks the high in the aftermarket, there's nothing stopping it, right? Because you can't halt then, can you?
No, you cannot. Okay.
They can try, but they will fail. And it's not to say, like, that works in both directions. Like, if it breaks the low, Mira could drop 50% in the aftermarket because you can't stop that from halting that direction either. But we're looking for a reload off 155 on AMD. Whether we get it or not, we'll see. Made me drink.
Yeah, that was a good one there. Just trying to get a little undercover hydration nation. All right, so there it is.
Awesome.
Thank you, NVIDIA. Thank you for being the best stock in the market to trade, in my opinion. So there it is. It's NVIDIA. It's been a good one for a while. I really like trading AMD. I mean, I love all. I have a love. My wife is probably watching. I love a lot of stocks, you know, to trade, and it's just about the setups, right? And it's like you don't like your job, probably might be in the wrong one, but at the same time, I really like trading. So there goes NVIDIA. We only now have, from what we had left, we probably have about 15% or so left. You know, 334, 335. Would love this move to continue to the high side. We've got a banger of a trade on Apple, so if that wants to keep coming down, I mean, look at this. Breaking the 50 period. I mean, Okay. So again, for me today, I've only traded, I know Neil's traded many more names than this, but I've only traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names today. And one of them was AMC. And I mean, so really 7 names. I mean, first of all, we're positive on AMC. It is the least, actually, Broadcom and AMC are basically coin flips right now on those names. So there's not much happening for me on those ones. Same as Starbucks. So like Starbucks, AMC, and Broadcom, Starbucks will be slightly red, AVGO will be slightly green, and then AMC will beat both of them. But that's the trading here so far on Starbucks. And remember, we talked about where we got stopped out right there. So out of all of this trading today, it'll be like 7-1 or so on that, with our worst trade, of course, being here on Shopify. And I'm really, the fact that I could call this my worst trade is really, for the way I trade, a good pat on the back, because again, made a mistake getting on VWAP. We were able to take a 10-cent hit there on that last piece before having it go all the way back up to the upside. So getting out of the way on Shopify, really a decent look there. Let's just get out of Apple. I mean, we just bouncing off this 200 period. What about here? I don't want to get like too out of the way of this trade, but I do think that there is a trade where we could start to march back higher here on Apple. So there is a possibility of that heading into the close. Make sure you check out our Real Trading sponsor. This is the platform that we use, man. Real Trading right now. Go over there, sign up for it. realtrading.com. Make your trading dreams come true today. Yes, wait a minute, that's not a thing. But you can make them come true today. I mean, mine
can be the line.
My trading dreams have sort of come true. Not really.
I mean, at the end of the day, this firm, I don't know. I'll tell you, I owe a lot to Real Trading and this floor. You know, this business in general. Like, it's not an easy business, but it gives you the tools to give you all kinds of opportunities out there, whatever your style of trading. Okay? I've said this many times. I started out and I traded momentum, but then when I graduated, my first check, I was actually trading penny stocks at the time. You know, when I got my first check. And then after that, like how I bought my first car, house, all that stuff, that came off small cap trading. No questions asked. And it doesn't really matter. You trade whatever ends up working for you. And that's what's great about it. You hear us be able to pay for locates, and they're relatively cheap, so we can short just about anything. We can trade just about anything. And we have almost every single market out there available at Real Trading. So shout out to our #1 sponsor. Indy's moving, AMD is moving, but I just missed a 155 reload. Not by much, but that's a live order. I had it in there when it bounced. Looks like we just missed it. I think we still cover at the high. It's 337 at this point. So, you know, if we break to the high of the day, not the high of the day, the high of the afternoon, then I'm going to get out of this trade. There was big time selling above 155.50. So we're just going to pull back a little bit there. Yes, Ramin, 100%. Ramin just said in our ears, let me know, you guys, if you want some Cool Ranch Doritos. So the answer...
Taste a Cool Whip with it as well.
You whip.
Cool Whip.
It's all about the whip.
Obviously, you don't put Cool Whip.
No, I mean...
from Family Guy, right?
Yeah, that's Stewie.
Stewie there.
I love Stewie.
Doritos Cool Ranch. Like, I didn't even know those
guy.
Still existed. I mean,
of course they do.
There's so many different Doritos now. Though you got the spicy pickle. Oh, I know it's the one. I like the sweet chili heat one. That's my jam.
You can't have it too spicy, or Adara will get.
Forget about it.
She'll get like a contact.
Dude, that's a lost cause.
Contact.
She was
right there.
She was on extra mild, and it was still too spicy for her. Adara, we love you, but that's stop.
You build into it.
Spicy food.
You can build into it. No, you build into it.
It was not very spicy, Adara.
You got to build into it. I'm just. Oh, like the whole bag.
Oh no, not the whole.
Oh.
Ramin will literally.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you throw the whole bag at me, like I'm craving like that. I just think I'm getting the entire bag.
Share this.
Yeah, we'll just share this. Why am I struggling for there?
That's fine. Hurry up.
I'll keep the bag here for now. I love Cool Ranch. I mean,
that's gonna be loud though, probably on our mics, maybe. What? I'm chewing right now. And
why you gotta take it back?
You're not muting me. Okay. All joking aside.
I could have muted myself while
NVIDIA. Buy a couple bags of Cool Ranch trade here with this NVIDIA trade. Nice move to the upside as we continue to go. Man, that's one chip. Like, how long does it take to chew one of these things? All right, so, man, those are good though. All All right, nice move up, 123.50, a good move into 50-period moving average. When you're going to go top to the 50, we like that one. Shout out to Drake and 50 Cent who were chilling out this weekend, I think with Sharif. Nice move to the upside, 123.20, trying to get through 123.40. I'll take it out right here, man, if we can get it, 123.60s for NVIDIA. I almost said Apple right there. Wow, I almost traded on the wrong stock. That would have been hilarious.
I did that this morning.
Oh, I've done that a couple of times.
No, I turned to you and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you said old man hands or something.
You know, I turned to Sean and I go, old man. Sorry, guys.
Stop eating and
Old
talking.
man hands. You're the one that started this whole thing. No, Ramin did. Because I went to punch into CrowdStrike and punched into Microsoft. Oddly enough, not a bad level, but I didn't want to be in it. I punched right out of it. And all I did in that situation is that was me getting into CrowdStrike. I meant to hit it. Sometimes it's moving fast. I had a Microsoft level 2 up. They're not even the same price. I don't have much of an excuse for it. Like when they're the same price, it actually makes sense. But in this particular case, I wanted to quickly get over to, I'm out of AMD, but we were asked a question, how would you trade CrowdStrike given pending litigation? It's going to be SSR again tomorrow because it's down another 10% today. So I'm not going to have a different approach. I think I just go into tomorrow. It bounced off 261, 260 for an SSR bounce, treat it the same way, be willing to scalp it, be willing to get out if it's wrong. And then if 55 or like 50 hit, same idea. It could be a 265. All of those are available. However, if it trends down again and I don't short a pullback into VWAP that curls like this, then I'm preemptively slapping the fail on myself. The shorts were so good. Someone on the short, we actually had a trader on the floor that was actually short this thing instead of looking for SSR bounces, and they were good. And it was my best stock today, but like even the one short at VWAP is probably as good as any of just all of your bounce plays added up, unless you traded it perfectly. So it's not going well for CrowdStrike. I think we all know that. As far as levels go on the daily, like 240 looks like a level on the daily chart to me. But if you're trading at 240 tomorrow, there's a plethora of trades going into that level before you even get there. So I just think you have to be patient. Have a trading strategy for it, ultimately. And if you like the short pops, if you like trend short, I think those were available. If you like dip buy bounce plays, those are available for you. I just think you got to calm down. I bought some. I dipped into my personal account today. Obviously, it's not looking that great. I'm probably like flat on it given where it's trading now. But I'll look to add to that maybe a quarter out or a couple of weeks out if it's still looking okay and holding these levels.
Yeah, okay. Right now, we're going to find out what is happening now because there goes NVIDIA. It is almost a $1 winner right there. So, there. All right, so there it goes, a nice little $1 in the money now for NVIDIA, and it's coming right into that level. I'm actually waiting at 56. I didn't see that size there at 55 when I put that 56 in there, but we were waiting for this level to come through anyway, so let's just offer it out. There it is. We'll take a 53 and punch out. There's your $1 right there on that reload. And again, we sit here and we talk about trading. Not easy, definitely, but there it goes. Nice up. Man, we are having a good day right there. So we'll try to figure this out where we go. Apple, nice move up. We'll let this happen. This was a smaller position. We had talked about that. We're only holding 20%. I was going to get out at the 50-period moving average, and we sort of thought that maybe we could get a move down. Let's put a bid now in the 70s here for Apple. If it does fall back in, then we'll just take it out. Let's put it 80 right there. If we get this, we'll take it out of the last 20%. But honestly, the damage that we put on this trade here on NVIDIA, infinitely more than Apple holding our last 20%. As there it goes, man. Nice move up, now 90 cents on this trade. And we just stuck with it. You know, we lost there. We lost 15 cents. 15 cents when it broke. We were long at 08 or something like that on NVIDIA when it came in. I mean, I can find that exact price. What does that take right there? That's 99s. So there's 12s. It's not 99s, but there's 90. Yeah, I guess that is 99s. But we didn't even, that's why we were long at 08s. We didn't even have a bid until it came down into O's. So we must have got an O's fill and an 11 fill. And then when it broke right there, here, what am I doing to zoom in? There is a tick out in here somewhere. It's 80s, 83, 85, something like that. So there's about a 15-cent hit. There is an out right there. I just can't see it. So that's our out. And then there's the rebuy. There's the rebuy. So, I mean, it's all good. up in this hood, of course. And there's Apple. I mean, again, I'm just trying to show you real trades. I mean, we've talked about this on the show. It's like, there's Apple. We told you where we were bidding 80s. There's the out coming through for Apple. So all we're doing is painting the town green with profits here into the afternoon. So, so far, so good there. I mean, NVIDIA, dollar, Apple, we just took whatever this was right there, 22s to 75. So that's 50 cents on Apple. We got out of our Starbucks with, I don't know how that went all the way up to 75s there as the market came in, but it did. We got stopped out of that trade, but still a good one, but you know, nothing crazy. And then we put on AMC, which was a positive name for us. Not very, but was positive for us, and we didn't put on that much risk. Like, that was not a full AMC position. Right? Like, if we had that open, then maybe, but we went over to it, and Neil's like, it's open.
You couldn't have had the open.
Well, you could have had the open price.
Usually, I would have, if they had done it the normal way, and by the way, the normal way to do things was, like, I would have seen the resumption, like all of this stuff that happens on the halt page, like 5 minutes in advance, you'd see a quote resumption. And then I can decide, hey, you know what? I want to take the opening print, and you have like minutes to be able to decide. I'm going to get a limit order, a market order. Instead, I never saw the update. The stock just opened. I happen to have a level 2 up, and I go over to the thing, and it's already trading. So, that's silly. I don't remember any time seeing that happen in the past, but that was a weird one. It went T3, but I had that page up the whole way, and they just sort of opened it very, very rapidly. But if you did take the opening print, that was a very efficient way to do it. You were still able to trade that long on AMC. So AMD, I'm out, looking for one last, okay, maybe it's 346. Yeah, you know what? I mean, sitting on the bid in front of support when it's about to hit 350 doesn't make a lot of sense. If we can dip and maybe hold 155 after the imbalances come out, assuming they come to the buy side in that particular case, that would make a little bit more sense. We're going to be done for that. There's nothing on the early look. GM's usually going to pair off, 2 million to sell. Enbridge is there every day, 2 million to sell. That'll probably pair off. Kenvue, there's always some kind of nonsense still going on with Kenvue shares. I feel like every day there's an imbalance. That has to do with the whole J&J thing. But nothing really that big yet. We'll keep this one to the ground. Just a reminder, almost every single day last week, NVIDIA showed up over 2 million shares to sell. So I'll keep our eyes for that one. Sometimes it's buy side, but most of the times it was a big sell imbalance. And we give it to you live here. We'll show you what the imbalances are, whether they're a good trade. Sometimes there's a big opportunity like that big, I forget what it was, that last week, ENTB or whatever, with that big move. It was like 67 million shares. We showed you guys live, and you saw the move off of that. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let us know what you guys want us to look at come 350. Only a couple of minutes left. And you know what? We're getting into earnings seasons too, so you get to stick around, talk a little Cleveland Cliffs, go over some great trading as well with Sean and the NOS boss, I believe, aftermarket today. He was slumming it a bit, I saw in the midday.
Yeah, he was. Okay, yeah, NOS boss. He was over there on some other channel. What a guy, man. We give the guy his start. I know he's playing around. I'll talk to him about it and give him, you know what, for that. All right, so nice move right there coming through into the end of the day, and we do want to look at some of those imbalances. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and go to Adara.
Volume spike here for Warner Brothers. Bloomberg reporting that Warner Brothers has offered to match Amazon's bid for NBA rights. So as you can see here, largest candle by far of the day for WBD, offering to match Amazon's bid for the NBA, guys.
Yeah, I got a funny feeling that's a bidding war that they can't win. I'm just going to throw that out there. But no, good look for Walgreens. Warner Brothers there. You can tell it's 350, and I'm still thinking about that, the boot that they got over there. As I'm like, I go immediately to Walgreens when I see Warner Brothers. Like, I can't even WB, and then I just type Walgreens. But I'm not that excited in that name. I actually think Amazon's going to win, and ultimately. Apple, Amazon, they've got endless pockets, relatively speaking, and we all know the only thing left live that matters is sports. So I think that's where it's going to be. Amazon actually not even having that great of a day today. But yeah, I am not terribly bullish because I'm not sure they're going to end up with that. Good luck to them if they're able to get it. And what was one thing with... Okay, I'm going to be on NVIDIA and AMD with less than 1 minute to go for those imbalances. If we get any kind of a pullback into 150, this is NVIDIA, there's 125, 122 and a half. That could be a dip spot on a buy imbalance. If it comes out of buy and drops for whatever reason, there's your support level. And then AMD, the 155 level, if we get a chance at it. It's continuing to go higher as we speak. So imbalance is about to drop in here. If we get some kind of a play, great. If nothing pops on the locator, then that's fine. We can look for maybe some kind of other opportunity out here, just trading off of a level. But with 350 looming, I want to wait to the other side of it when we actually get to see some of the numbers, if any.
Yep, so I think that's a good call. We'll watch out for NVIDIA. We have it up right here in just a couple seconds left, so we'll watch out for this stock. I don't even have any stop orders in or anything. I mean, if it tanks, it tanks. I'm almost out, like literally
Intel's
10% or less still on this name. So let's continue to watch out for that and see if we can get some hot fire trades happening here. So it's Intel with the sell. What a surprise that one is. We absolutely nailed this like dead to rights. But again, the problem with NVIDIA, or not the problem, but what we wound up doing here with Intel was we did not buy. I mean, look what we drew this morning. We showed this to you guys live on air as well on TradingView as I was messing around with different charts. Dip by 32.75 with the resistance all the way up there. So we should have had top to bottom today on Intel, but we did leave that one alone. So anyways, that's that. Still $1 in the money on NVIDIA. What else is happening here? We're going to end the day at our highest spot, period. So that's going to be pretty good for us. Amazon with a little bit of a sell, so that's some nice sell pressure. We'll check that out tomorrow. There's Apple. I mean, we got out there. Would have been real nice to spin that $1.20 right now in the money. But again, into imbalances, I can't predict that. So we'll get out at the 50-period moving average. Cost ourselves a couple lobster tails, but other than that, it was okay. Nice move down into 224 there for Apple. So big congratulations to everyone's favorite Xander Schauffele for winning the British Open yesterday. And I wanted Shane Lowry to win, former British Open winner and British. So that would have been nice to see that, or Justin Rose or something. But at the end of the day, Xander, the American, comes through. I believe he's American.
Yeah, well,
Xander Schauffele. So good little.
I just look at the leaderboard.
I hate playing those courses.
I'll watch the Masters on Sunday. But I don't think I've watched the British Open in quite some time. Like the Masters is the one that I'll usually pay attention to on the final day. But yeah, good look for them. Obviously, there's no 155 trade on AMD. You can see like it's continuing to break out through the highs. There wasn't even an imbalance there. There wasn't an imbalance on NVIDIA. It ended up being Intel, which pairs off pretty much every single time. And then Apple, which was not there a second ago, 1.5 sell. It's an overall 1.8 billion sell side. 1.2 billion on the NASDAQ specifically. The Mag 7 are 320 million to sell. That's not that big, considering Apple leads it out there with that big sell imbalance. AVGO, Broadcom with $1 million to the sell side. Let's see if that's doing anything. It's a good 5% of the day's volume. There was that wick down on Broadcom. So it definitely reacted off resistance, so 161.25. It reacted to that sell imbalance by giving you a bit of a drop. Might be a trade. If it can retrace back up to the top of 355, it could be worthy of a short. But just remember, 355 is a major pairing event. So if you see buy imbalances or big sell imbalances or decent sell imbalances in this case, I would suspect at 355, that's going to pair off a bunch. That Apple number is probably going to pair off. You can see it's already paired 4.7 million into 1.6 million sell imbalance. Intel's is significant, but I don't trust that at all. Because I know what Intel usually does, and what Intel usually does is nothing on an imbalance. So my eyes are going to be on AVGO. It looks the most promising combination between it has $1 million sell imbalance and it's got a level that would be worthy of trading off. It's just a matter of actually getting that one there. Alex Gasper saying BTC with an exclamation mark. BTC 68. Ooh. That was a little bit hairy, that one. I feel like some of mine in the afternoon when I hit those, they're always slow and choppy, but there's your 68 level. You're still screaming into the upside, and good look for anyone holding on to that Bitcoin. I hold it, don't trade it, to be honest with you. Well, every once in a while, we'll trade a little bit of Mara here, but come on, pop to the upside. Give some kind of an opportunity before 355 hits on AVGO, because if this pairs off, there's not a trade, and it's not close enough to that high that I would want to take the shot. Like, you want to be shorting it right tight to that level. Not a lot of time left in here. I think Tesla's strong, but AVGO was the only imbalanced name that was kind of interesting. Yeah, it's already starting to drop.
And we're still $1 and changing the money on NVIDIA. Maybe if we get up to 124, we'll just put a hope out there and see if we get it.
Oh, should I still have
Cancel my Apple, man. What a
cancel.
do this on Twitter all the time. What a good day it was. Shout out to Sticky Note Nation and everybody there today trading with me. It was a good one. Join me tonight as we go with Adara and we talk about some of these names that are going to come reporting. SAP tonight over here, 234. Yeah, there you go. $234 billion market cap. Cadence, we talked about them coming through after hours as well. NXPI, let's see what the semis are saying. We got a punch in the face with TSM last week. We'll find out what's going on with NXPI there today. Aftermarket close, my steel name, Nucor. I'm still in that name, but I'm getting some out of that one. We really like Nucor there. Brown and Brown. I mean, if your color is brown, then you might want to pay attention to that one. And then as we go on, I was looking for some more names coming through there. There's Zion's Bancorp, so we can watch out for KRE. There's Cleveland Cliffs as well coming. And yeah, other than that, there's probably some more names as it doesn't really stop. Because they're now into the billions right here. So let's go over to page 2. If and when it loads, we'll get that going as well. But it's not loading. So we will have some good names coming through here today into the close. So we can get out now. We might as well. 160, 123.30. You're trying to break a little bit lower here on NVIDIA. When you play this game, it is a dangerous one into the close. So we'll put an offer out now as we were waiting for a little bit higher into the mid 40s. If we can get that, great. And let's just take it out right now at 34. Maybe a little bump and we'll get it. There it is. We are now closed out our trade. Oh yeah, it goes as a short sell because I had an offer higher. So, all right, we're now out. Good trading there for us on NVIDIA. We actually almost made it all back, but we did give some back. Remember, we had lost about 10%, but made some back on that move. So we'll still wind up down from our highest spot of NVIDIA, but it will be my number one stock today. So again,
Meta
one loser today. Yeah, Meta tanking, one loser today for me, Shopify. So today, everybody, was a good day.
Meta, no imbalance. Meta just dropped $3. Don't know a reason why. There was a news on CrowdStrike. CEO is going to be testifying, but obviously, if they're doing an inquiry, of course, the CEO is going to have to step up and answer some questions. But Meta in here for reasons unknown, other than maybe it lost $490 to the downside. AVGO. If you have broke rule, like if I shorted it at 61 because it was a round number, it actually did push down. And then when the imbalances paired off, there was your 40 cents and it came back higher. But I wanted it short off the top. Like that play is short off a resistance level, not just sort of randomly anywhere. Everything else paired off. So your imbalance locator, Intel, like I said, usually going to pair off there. WFC, under 1 million shares on WFC now left. And everything that was big. Apple gone off the imbalance locator, Broadcom gone, and Intel, all three of them are gone. AMC never had an imbalance VRO's trades that was significant. I mean, it's possible it had some number, but I can tell you that it was nothing over. I mean, I probably scanned it like 250,000, so it wasn't over 250,000, not that significant. Ended up holding that halt price. So that 515, with only 2 minutes to go, hey, I mean, 515, that was Friday's high, that was Thursday's high, that was Wednesday's close. That is a wick bottom right into it at $516. So I know what level to put out, at least to start things off tomorrow morning on AMC. All eyes will be on the $5.15 level. So I already know that's going to go on my iPad. Whatever, I can do that in a quick little second. But it's an obvious area of support. Just need to see some consolidation there. Anything can happen overnight. I mean, it's fully capable of gapping 10% either direction, rendering that either useless, potential resistance, or you're so far away of it that you have to establish something else. But you got to start somewhere. Holding on to that halt price, that's a bad wick. That halt price here on AMC looking pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll just hang out for a minute. Let me look at this Apple trade. I mean, we were short all afternoon here. I hope you guys still are with only a minute and a half left. Great trading for Apple downside. So we will put that in our little noggin here and figure out what we're going to do with that trade coming up tomorrow because it still continues to bleed lower. So whatever gave us that sort of spidey feeling other than VWAP that this name was going to be something to short, we're going to have to try to keep that in target there tomorrow. Just a quick check on some of the big names there. So NVIDIA going to end up the day up 5%. We like that a lot. Tesla as well, going to end up near the high of the day, up 5% as well for Tesla. So that's going to be a good one. The TQQs did pull back here a little bit, but still going to end up near the high of the day on the market there as well. Starbucks, you could see pretty choppy there into the close, but again, we got out at that key level, so we'll pay attention to see how key exactly that is coming up very soon. But yeah, so far so good here into the close. With only 30 seconds to close right now, Amazon, wow, that's a big move to the downside there on.
Wow, Amazon too.
Yeah, that's a big move.
I thought it was just Meta.
Yeah. So Amazon right there taking out some names.
Do I hit the button or not? What's the deal with that?
I don't know, but I just know it doesn't really work that well. So
okay, well, the countdown is on. Okay, I hit them because sometimes we hit the button, we don't hit the button for the countdown, but I just hit the button because in 5, what the? No, it was working and it was gonna be right. Ring it right now. No, you guys all saw that. Like I hit that button, and sometimes. Like, you got to time it. Like, it's about 3:59, 47, or 48. I hit the button, and then it's dead on. You get zeros at the moment that it's supposed to be. Market closes. It was so good. I feel like we're going to get it right, and then all of a sudden it came on all by itself. So the market, I mean, really big time strong day. The NASDAQ holds on at 20,000 at the end. So 1.5% of the upside holding on to 20,000 despite the dump in Meta and Amazon late in the day, kind of out of nowhere, not a big imbalance or anything like that, but good, strong day for the overall market. Obviously led by NVIDIA 5%, Tesla was up 5% as well. We had AMC moving around a little bit. And unfortunately, it ain't over yet for CrowdStrike. So we're going to be watching this one every day until it stops moving the way that it is. Down another 13 points. To the downside over there on CrowdStrike. There is, and I promised, well, I didn't promise, but I said I would look over. That Mira is still doing ridiculous things. Remember, it can't halt in the aftermarket. Tried to run $5. It dumped all the way to 440 aftermarket, and lo and behold, it's trying to make a push above 5 even. If you are trading this in the aftermarket, good luck to you. Obviously a dangerous name. As fast as these go up, they can come down. The last time it was at $5, see what happened at 6. Big time failure at the 6 level. But for now, Mira up 650% and destroying shorts left, right, and center. I am so glad. Like, there was a time when a lot of people would look to fade these types of names. Maybe not ones with this liquidity, but wow. Shout out to Refrain on the 1s and 2s all by herself. Fabian having the day off and doing an amazing job, Refrain, and thank you for the Cool Ranch Dorito chip. Shout out to the professor and Adara. But you know what time it is? It's market recap time. You got Cleveland Clips and a whole lot of better stuff to talk about with the trading from today. At the desk, we've got Sean, we got Adara, you've got the NOS boss. Enjoy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, Adara, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, of course. As we get a couple names coming out to report immediately, so as soon as we get those, anything of any kind of significance, we will be dropping those to you. We have Cadence coming out right now, CDNS. Looks like they might be an upside move. Let me just switch over to here, switch over to a 1-minute chart. Right now, there it is, a nice move there from 19 up to 20. Oops. CD, what is it? NS. Right there. So there it is. So bouncing around, I was going to say $20, $290 right now. So a nice move up to $291. Then a move down to $280. We'll watch out what's happening with Cadence Design Systems right now coming through. There it goes. $293. So a nice uptick right now for CDNS. And you can see, again, another name that's right at its 200 period moving average that's been hit recently. Cadence right now starting to go back up to the upside there. Good to see that, I guess, is another SaaS name starting to go. So we'll have a couple more coming through here as we wait for, we don't have it on the board right now, but we will get earnings names back up on there. Because right now they're going to start coming through. So we do have CLF coming today and a few other names that we had talked about. But we have it in our ears, so welcome to the Market Recap Show. In today, what was a pretty good day. I mean, across the board, if you just see some of these indexes right now, the SMH, I mean, really a nice move today. Just coming back to life. I mean, we had NVIDIA written down as our #1 stock to look at was going to be SMH was NVIDIA. So SMH, a nice move today off the 50-period moving average, starting to get going again. I mean, I really liked this name NVIDIA today. Look at these levels of concern, man. Down here at 117, 118. Man, those were good. Only to finish up at 123. We had here today, here's NVIDIA. We had a great long on NVIDIA early, actually, right down here at 120. So as we break that trade out, there's the 120. And then just for the rest of the day, we actually had another one come through at the end as it's pretty slow. Right there, a nice move up from 122.50. So as soon as we get any kind of earnings, we will be dropping them to you. Just let me know. So there it goes right now. NVIDIA, nice day today. ARC, with a nice little movement. I mean, ARK's been really a good little ETF, especially as we talk about IWM starting to break out as well. ARK's not breaking out, but if you did buy some of these bottoms, $42, $43, we've had a great opportunity with Coinbase as well, making a nice move recently. I mean, what a good move for IBIT and for some of those crypto names today, as it looks like, man, hey, crypto winter maybe is not now. It's starting to go back up to the upside. There's Coinbase, 264, 265. I used to have a BTC chart open over here, and it's now closed out. Ethereum today also 3,500. That's starting to make some moves here as well. Here is our Binance chart coming through with us. There's Ethereum with a nice move. If we go over to a daily chart, there it is, 3,500 and change, trying to break higher, 3,600 right there coming through for ETH. So a nice move. And we had talked about this with our guest on some relative strength potentially in Ethereum rather than Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, they both go boom today, Ethereum and IBIT. And another name that we had looked at, of course, Coinbase, breaking out one more time here today. So, hey, we have Zion Bank's going to be coming out very, very soon. When we get those earnings, we'll bring those to you as well. But there it goes for KRE, right? The regional banking ETF with a nice move recently. Huge move, actually. Look at this line that we drew. Taking this out, break through this, $51, straight up there to 56. That's going to be a nice little banger for us on KRE. And this one, Adara, also breaking out. And we will wait for Zion to come through again as some of these regionals start to get back up to the upside. I still feel like they're in a little bit of danger, but as you start to cut rates and some of those commercial real estate properties start to look a little bit more attractive, I could see some love coming back in for that. Interrupt me whenever, because I threw that thing out of my ear.
We just got Cleveland Clips here.
All right.
Cliffs, sorry, with F. So Q2 adjusted EBITDA here, beating estimates 323 million versus 293.8 million expected here. Let's see what other numbers we got. A lot of their numbers are coming in some weird orders here. Okay, adjusted EPS. Quarterly adjusted EPS, 11 cents per diluted share here. Revenue coming in as a miss, though. 5.1 bill versus 5.2 bill expected. So the order for this, like I said, kind of different. Q2 net income, though, beating estimates 9 million versus negative 9.58 million expected.
Okay.
So that's a heck of a net income beat there for Cleveland Clips. They did miss revenue, though.
Okay, good. Yeah, thanks, Adara, for that. As we'll see here, Cleveland Cliffs starting to go up to the upside. A nice little move. Closing the day at 15.20, looking to get higher here. It does touch a high of $16 here in the post market, but now you're falling back in a little dicey here for CLF. Let's have a quick look to see what that looks like live right now on a level 2 screen. So there's Cleveland Cliffs. Not a lot of volume coming in. You are seeing a little bit of a volume spike there, but not a heck of a lot. Spread still 10 cents. Not going through a lot of prints. It's CLF right now up 4% in the after hours. So we'll just keep on going with our show. Cleveland Cliffs now out. And we talked about copper. I mean, copper today slightly down. Some of the negative spots today are going to be energy. So energy, XLE downside, OIH, USO, and then there's XOP again, silver. So that must mean, where's gold, GLD? I saw that was up a little bit possibly. Yeah, there's GDX right there today. Gold flat on the day. So that's a 1-minute chart. You can see gold's already broken, but now come back out. So watch out for a 50-period moving average on all of that. But Zion Bancorp is now out. We'll get those numbers in just a couple seconds when Adara sees them. But there it is, a nice couple ticks up here for Zion. Apparently it's out. We will wait for that. SAP, it's okay. SAP is also out right now. So here we go, man. Another software as a service name coming to the upside right now, 201 and change. SAP, we'll see where that goes right now. I'm seeing 76 cents, missing 97. So let's have a quick look on SAP, as that's going to be coming out pretty soon as well. So a couple names to go through. Before we do anything with the ETF side, we will bring Michael in a couple seconds, but let's have a quick look and we'll just let Adara get some of those numbers as we go. But okay, you have something?
I have SAP, yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
SAP Q2 total revenue up 10% here. So 8.288 billion euros, which is up 10% here. What else are we getting? Bless you, Ramin. They did beat for EBIT as well here. 1.94 billion euros versus the estimate of 9.18 billion euros. We got Zion's as well. They beat EPS here. Sorry, some of these are coming out in different orders. We did get earnings per share beat here for Zion's, 1.28 versus what I'm seeing here is estimates of 110. And these Lions numbers coming out a little bit more slowly. We're getting like one number a minute here. They're seeing a slight to increase in net interest income for Q2 2025 versus Q2 2024. We're also still waiting on NXPI here. It's supposed to come out at 410. But yeah, we're seeing a slow release here of the Zion's earnings and SAP.
That's what it was. It was NXPI.
Yeah,
that to me is by far the most interesting one, not only because of its market cap, but because of the impact that we could have. Again, I like this blue shirt. This is a nice little blue shirt coming through there. All right, blue on blue right now. So nice little move there for Zion. We talked about those numbers being out, and here's what it looks like on the chart. Up to 50-50 right now. SAP was another name. That's starting to go right there. So just a quick look on some of those names that Adara had reported for you. Again, I want to do this, and we'll do this before NXPI comes in. But right now, here, let's talk quickly about this. So today's market, pretty green overall. We were led, obviously, to the upside by strong NVIDIA number today, up 5%. Again, on chip talk, that they've now maybe solved one of their chips to be able to perform similarly to their Blackwell chip, now being able to ship to China. So we'll see about that. And of course, that was a ban and things put out by the Biden administration. If it's Kamala Harris, I could see that getting extended. So it's good news for NVIDIA that now maybe they can get into China. All right, Google, nice move for Google today, up 2%, Meta 2%, Microsoft, everything but Apple. And we really nailed Apple at the end of the day with a great short. So look at relative weakness in Apple, their consumer name. And
just got NXPI.
And Amazon, a consumer name as well. So Eli Lilly, that 1% right now. I just heard out of the side of my ear, side of my head, my ear, no, I guess my full ear, right now that NXPI is indeed out. So ruh-roh, nice move to the downside for NXPI. See you later as that's starting to go down. We don't like to see that if you are long some of the chip names, but we'll wait to find out from Adara. You just let me know when you have some numbers.
I have one number.
Right.
These numbers are coming out more slowly today, but NXPI, they did beat on revenue here, guys. 1.3 bill versus 1.125 bill estimated. So very slight revenue beat. Waiting for, okay, we got our EPS. Also looks like a beat here, but again, a pretty small one. This one's a slight miss here. 3.2, so $3.20 for the estimate of $3.21. So we missed by 1 cent here for NXP earnings per share. I'm going to put all of this in the chat here as well, in case anyone missed it. But slight revenue beat, slight EPS miss here for NXPI.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly look to see if there's any impact on NVIDIA there. And apparently NVIDIA is saying, hold my beer, NXPI, because we're not the same league. But it is starting to make a move down. Look at, there we go. Now, what we wait for now is the guide. If you have the guide there for NXPI, because this is getting absolutely crushed.
It's the guide. It's because of the guide.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, they had, so Q3 adjusted earnings per share, 321 to 363 is their guidance. What analysts were looking for is 361. So to clarify, 321 to 363, analysts wanted 361.
So you're seeing NXPI today off of a decent day now give back. So again, NXPI throughout the whole day, nice move up, right? Closes at the high, actually puts on about $15 on its name because we closed in and around 270, closing 285. So it not only gives everything back, but more right now on NXPI. So not a great sort of look here as we had TSM warn a little bit. Now NXPI guiding a little below. And it does suck for sure that you go back down to May levels. So we'll wait to see if there is any sort of secondary push on an AMD or on, I guess down $1 is decent. If NVIDIA, look, man, if NVIDIA ever gets down to 118 and 120, you're going to see your boy put on a bunch of shares. And then I don't know what's going to happen. It might even be retirement, or we'll figure that out from there. But just on the show, I'm really excited. We'll see if NVIDIA can come into play one more time for us. That's a bunch of earnings, but I don't really care about earnings. And we have someone waiting, and it's Michael Noss, and it's Trader Talk. So let's go. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
I'm not doing too bad. How do I get one of those Trade Ideas shirts? That's pretty snazzy right there. I like that one.
Oh, I think we can get that. I think we can get that happening for you.
All right. I like that. Looking good there, Mr. Noss. How's the family?
Everyone's doing fantastic. First time in a while that no one's sick. As you know,
great.
with kids in daycare, it's usually a constant thing, but everyone's feeling great.
Yeah, that's okay. Great news to hear that one. I want to check in on that. Okay, a little bit of a wild day, but I mean, kind of to be expected here. We had a really hot NASDAQ, and I mean, it didn't really stop until the end where we gave back just a little bit. But again, as I look here, and I'll use the Trade Ideas platform, make sure everyone hits TraderTV.20 again to get part of that. But look at this push down on the 3-minute. Kind of comes right back into some support that we had seen early down here at 478, and then a buyback. Was there anything that you were maybe seeing here today? It looked like the NASDAQ maybe even wanted to go red. And again, on weakness of Apple, potentially, maybe there is some problems with individual names. But to me, Michael, when I look at the NASDAQ and I call up this daily chart, I mean, you are bouncing off a 50 period and potential support down here at 473. Is it time to get long yet on this pullback, or are we maybe waiting for earnings season to sort of flow through?
Well, you know, when we look at what the pullback was initially caused by, it was just a handful of stocks pulling back that had been pushing us up most of the year. So it's one of those things that, you know, everyone's asking, well, what do you think of the market? And without getting too meta, it's what is the market? So when the NASDAQ was pulling back, we had IWM rocking, we had RSP, which is the equal weight S&P 500 doing fantastic. So I think this rotation is just getting started, and we're going to see more into this space. And if you go to my screen, I've got a little bit of kind of evidence here, just looking at the sector heat map. And something really cool that we launched now on the web. If you hover over any symbol you see on the web, a little 15-minute chart pops up. So it gives you a really good, quick way to kind of go through these watch lists and see what's going on. But if I make this full screen, you can see that all of the major sectors we watch were very green today, and then only one red with energy. So it just shows me that this rotation is continuing. We have China doing well. We have uranium. We have industrials. We have all of these sectors doing fantastic. So even if NVIDIA and the chips are going to pull back, I, for one, am okay with that as someone who is a stock picker, because I think they're just going to go into other sectors. And again, that's fun for us to try to play whack-a-mole on what sector is going to be next and position our money accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Are we talking still looking for some of the smaller cap names because we're going to get probably that 2 to 3 rate cut? Is that more interesting to you right now? Would you prefer to scan for those kind of names? Or really you're just looking at that heat map and saying, let's dig under the hood on whatever's.
I think small caps make sense. I actually have the chart up here of the IWC. Everyone knows the IWM, which is the small cap. And if we take a look at that quickly, it did well today.
Micro cap?
But you know, a nice little candle, 1.5%. But IWC, which is our microcap sector, that actually did 2 and a bit %. So this, you know, moving down the cap scale seems to be the theme right now. People are investors are flush with money from, you know, the semis and all the big software names doing fantastic, and they're looking at what's next, and it seems like they're going way down the cap scale to these micro caps and these small caps, which again, for us that like to kind of pick stocks and we're going to chase the next thing as opposed to the last thing, I think that this is a great time. So I'm spending a lot of my time. Something you can do easily at Trade Ideas is I just go in, I turn down the market cap that I want, and I'm no longer looking at, you know, ultra mega caps, but you know, anything under 100 million is an interesting hunting ground right now.
Yeah, I mean, some of these scans, I never even looked at IWC, so thank you so much for bringing that up right there, coming through. A name that fits this, which is why I was trying to lead in with IWM and some of the smaller caps, was Carvana. You've been talking about this name, CVNA, for a couple minutes on the show as well last week, for sure. Their earnings are coming up on the 31st. So we're getting pretty close here for Carvana, and it looks like it's trying to pull back a little bit. You've brought a lot of education to us about looking at days to cover, so just under 5 right there, plus a short float of 22% again here for Carvana. So I know this does a lot of lifting in the IWM. Any opinions on this one? Are you still in this name? What are you looking at here for Carvana to do in the next couple weeks?
I'm still in some. You know, the trade idea that I kind of gave was a break and a retest of this level at, you know, 125 or so. So I had some there. We went on a 4 or 5 day run, and you know, I'd be crazy not to take a bunch off the table for that. So I took some off there. I'm in. My rules say that I don't want to be in for earnings. Just anything can happen unless I have a really big buffer on the trade. But with 22% short, and you're right, 4.5, it's almost 5 days to cover here. If they say anything, that's good. If they just, I don't know, bring up AI or something for a car company, then you got to imagine that these shorts are starting to get nervous, just considering the performance of Carvana this year. There can't be many shorts that are sitting in a nice position on this one.
Hi, hi, Michael. Thank you for being here. I know you mentioned Coinbase this morning as well. How are you feeling about Coinbase today? We had a bit of a move up in this name. We did have that move up in crypto or Bitcoin, sorry, back to 68,000 today. How is Coinbase looking for you? Now, I know you mentioned that new indicator as well, showing this one as a strong signal right now.
Yeah, so Coinbase, and actually we can go and I can load up that new indicator. So full disclosure, I did pull the trigger on some Coinbase, so I am involved here. But the idea was using this new go no go indicator, which I programmed into the system myself, and it's very, very interesting. Just showing a lot of buying interest on Friday's close. So what I did is just going into the 30-minute chart, which is my kind of execution time frame. We sold off on the open, and when we came back through that open and it turned blue again, showing that there's that buying interest that happened again, and that's like 260, that's where I pulled the trigger. So I like it. Again, it's all going to depend on crypto, right? If we get some sort of crypto major sell-off overnight or some sort of weekend or something, I'm probably not going to have a good time with Coinbase. But like me and Sean were talking a lot about, there's this flip between, Solana looks great, Ethereum is outperforming as well, and Bitcoin's actually been the bit of the laggard. It doesn't really matter because all of these things are going to benefit Coinbase, where if you look at something like a Mara, that's going to benefit a lot on Bitcoin because you don't mine Ethereum anymore. It's proof of work instead of proof of stake. So Coinbase is really a good place to go to get kind of crypto overall exposure. So I like the look of that. And, there's been rumors of maybe a Ripple ETF and maybe even a Solana ETF. You got to imagine that they're going to custody that at Coinbase, which would just be all the better for the company.
I have a good look on Solana there because I have an order pending right now, 190 to get a piece out of Solana. I really like that name coming through. All right, Michael, where's Ramin? There she is. Just real quick on a couple names here. First of all, NXPI, if you come over to the screen, is holding down here near 260. I just wanted to give all of our viewers a little bit of a chance to look there. Can we talk some energy, Michael? Because it's actually down today. You mentioned the XLE coming to the downside. And you know what? This is where I kind of park my money. You and I have talked about the XLE ETF a couple times coming through. I like this trade, and I'm not panicking and getting out of anything. What I'm actually going to ask you, is there anything on your radar for a potential buy in the energy space right now? I know we talked about some of the Uranian names, but do you have anything that's maybe a little bit more kind of like old school, like a bigger name that some traders may like? I was looking at a Schlumberger earlier, SLB. Maybe if you want to look at that, unless you have a name. But that had fallen back in here. Maybe I'll go to a weekly chart, but this was great support, and I was unable to pull the trigger here on Schlumberger. Came right back into this $43 with a $40 hold. And I feel like I could draw a little smiley face here, and this might be a go, no-go play for you. But I thought Schlumberger looked pretty good down here. Maybe we can look at this name or anything else in the energy space that you're looking to pick up.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track there with Schlumberger. Using the relative strength algorithm that we have here at Trade Ideas. When I was doing that on the weekend for subscribers, I noticed a lot of names coming up that were in that oil and or the natural gas and distribution type of thing that Schlumberger is in. So I mentioned UNG before. We were chatting about this, just the two of us on Twitter a bit. I did pull a trigger and I bought some here again at 14. Just a very tight risk reward play. I wish I'd taken some out today. I think I may regret not taking a little bit off the table there, but just to see if this prior support does hold. But yeah, going through a lot of this list, I noticed that there are some of these names that are kind of oil and gas related, and a lot of these things are looking strong. So I think the Schlumbergers would make sense. I actually had one just up here 2 seconds ago that now I've lost, but that's okay.
All right.
Just look for any of the actual natural gas kind of transportation, the way to move natural gas around. That seems to be one of the best sectors right now. And you can find a lot of this with XOP. So I have XOP up on my screen here, and this is just the products as opposed to the actual, or the services as opposed to the products themselves. Holding strong here. We had this breakout of a downtrend line. We came down and retested, putting a big bottoming tail today. So Energy is very, very interesting to me because if we know the small caps doing so well, the small caps are made up of financials and they're made up of energy, and financials have already done phenomenally. So I think if the small cap kind of trade is going to play out, some energy places definitely make sense. So that's one of my areas of focus for the next little bit.
Okay, good. I'm glad you brought that up. I think a good Canadian name, Enbridge, if we're talking about some gas plays, that could be something to look at. Enbridge looking okay right here. Earnings coming August 2nd. So they're up. And again, kind of looks very similar off of that. Just quickly before we go, I just want to check out NXPI one more time as this one's moving around as well here in the after hours. So let's go to a 1 minute chart to check that out. So NXPI is still down. SAP, a nice move to the upside here as that continues to go. And then it was Cadence was another name, but that wasn't really moving around. And then Cliffs. I know you and I talk about copper sometimes, but there's Cliff Natural Resources. Nice move to the upside. All right, Michael, we don't buy names that are absolutely tanking, but me not being very smart, of course, stepped in today and bought some CrowdStrike. So this is a name that I laugh because I don't think this is one that you'll probably think looks really good down here. And I'm not sure it does either. What I'm buying here is I'm trying to buy best of breed. So this has a huge move down. Obviously, we saw that, and it was not a breach. It was a software rollout that just completely went bonkers. So maybe they need to do a little bit of rehiring with some of their engineers. But CrowdStrike, I look at it and think to myself, look, if we almost set the world on fire here with what was down, airlines down, Microsoft, a lot of products. That Sphere, I don't know if you saw that. The Sphere there in Vegas was down. So a lot of things happening that CrowdStrike's a part of. What is there a level that somebody would be, like yourself, potentially interested in buying some of these dips here on CrowdStrike? I did start a smaller position today, about 20%, and I'm putting it in my RRSP, so long term. Anything looking good here for a swing or any levels that you might like?
I'm gonna channel my inner Brian Shannon here and grab one of his adages, which is don't buy the dip, buy the strength after the dip.
Right.
So when it comes to CrowdStrike, I'm looking at this kind of 290-ish level. If you go even further back on the chart, this ends up being a level that's of pretty big importance, and we broke that and we closed below it today. So for me, it would be something, the way that I trade would look something like, okay, if we can get back above this 290 level and we can hold there for maybe a day or so, then I can buy it there and I can put my stop at the swing low. What I get worried about when it comes to these names is another like Boeing fiasco where you have the initial crazy dip and then people are rushing in to buy that dip, and then you have the DOJ opening up things, and then whistleblowers going missing or passing away, and then it just ends up being this kind of nightmare. So on CrowdStrike, I'd be worried about that. But like I talked about on the day that it was happening, if you look at this hack ETH, HACK, it's actually holding up really well considering what's going on here. So if the theme is that, you know, CrowdStrike controls too much of the internet because if they can hit a wrong button, half the internet goes down, then what may happen is some, you know, spreading out of cybersecurity to PanW and whatever, Sentinel-1, those companies. So this might be one of those times that an ETF's a good way to play this if you're still bullish on cybersecurity. And again, this isn't dipping very much considering what's happening with CrowdStrike.
No, it isn't. And I mean, PanW, again, like I feel like you're right. Getting into some of these ETFs when there's some of this controversy, probably better to hide out there while you wait for the dust to settle. I'll have Brian on tomorrow, and I'll ask him the exact same question, and I bet he's going to answer similarly to that, because you are right. Don't chase these falling knives. Wait for some strength. An opportunity that I think exists right now is China. To be honest with you, I think that we have a good catalyst here with the elections coming through. And then, of course, over the weekend, we had Joe Biden step down. But I don't know if that really changes too much because the vice president going to take over. So policies may be similar to what we've seen here in China. So I call over this K-Web. And you and I go back and forth. FXI, I think you were the one that introduced me to a K-Web there as well. But if I'm just going to go over here and look at a weekly chart, I mean, unless China completely falls out of bed here, which is possible, we did have a low, obviously, back in October of 22, where the whole market kind of crashed in there at $20. But for KWeb, for me, I just wonder if there's a big opportunity here that we might be missing in some of these Chinese names. So what do you think about KWeb here on a weekly? It looks half decent. I don't know. Seems to be a falling knife a little bit as well, but I just think there could be some value here. You and I have traded UNG quite successfully. Is KWeb setting up something like that?
Yeah, I like the look of KWeb. I've got it up on my chart here where that actual low that we're at right now corresponds with an anchored VWAP from this kind of January, February low. We bounced off that before. I think we were talking about it on the show when that happened. And we're right back to it again and bouncing. So just like anything, I'm going to take a look for some relative strength. This TME, this Tencent music, if I'm going to get involved in China, I'm going to pick best of breed instead of trying to buy, the stuff that's hitting new lows. And even with the latest pullback we're seeing in KWeb and we're seeing in FXI, this TME is doing fantastic. Just this nice bull flag holding up at highs. And I haven't even looked at this one in a while, but still holding up nice is TAL, which is one of those educational companies. And you can see from the lows in 2022, which was $1, all the way up to where we are now, which is 11. This thing has 10x'd off its lows. So some of these companies are looking good, and that it would always be my advice is if you're looking at a sector and you want to go under the hood like that, is just find the strongest stuff. Find the stuff that's not participating in sell-offs, but is participating in bounces. So that TME and the TAL both look fantastic to me.
Before I let you go, I just wanted to remind everybody, and Bears vs. Bulls, our moderator, has been putting it here in the chat, and that was that we want everybody to make sure that they sign up for trade ideas, because you do have that AI in July coming up, and that should be real fun. And you talked about some of that earlier on our show. Just a quick 1-minute little promo for you there, Michael, if you want.
Absolutely. So if we go to my screen real quick, we actually are changing the way that we tell people about our AI trades. And like this MIEP, you can see it's sent with a picture of, hey, take a look here, put a stop loss here, right? It meant to short it at 360, and here's your profit target. And we're sending all of these out. And this is something that Trade Idea has done for a long time. We're just visualizing it a little bit better with the AI. So what we're doing for a contest is if you sign up for the test drive, which you should go to trade-ideas.com/tradertv to sign up there, you can participate by paper trading. The winner, we give you $3,000. The only stipulation is all of the trades have to come from the AI. Again, you can fade it, you can trade around it, you can do whatever you want. But if you win, hey, $3,000.
We'll take that and we'll invest in some AMC. Thank you so much, Michael Noss, for another great episode with us. And I saw you on another channel looking pretty good, but I can't remember the name of it. It's Michael Noss from Trade Ideas. Thank you so much, my friend. That's Trader Talk. See ya.
See you soon.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, my bad. Sometimes those things just slip my mind. I don't know.
Why would you remember it?
No, it's funny. Like, I can remember so many stock symbols, like literally thousands and thousands of them. But when it comes to TV, I can't remember anything other than TTVL.
And it's funny too, same, four letters, who knows? Could be a stock symbol, but it's not. Shout out to TTVL. Yeah, TTVL right there, as we're gonna go public very, very soon. All right, today's Sticky Note brought to you by me, right there, and it was a good one today, as we'll have a quick little look at this NVIDIA long, man, that 122.50 break. Mamma mia, that was a good one right there. We'll have to watch out for ARM long 162 tomorrow. We knew Tesla was gonna be hot fire, but we were not in it. But man, oh man, was that AMZ pretty good today as well. Go find the Sticky Note, as it was all good. And here's some of the trades that we had on early. Not CLF. Come on, CLF. We're not trading you, my guy. We'll trade you maybe tomorrow. But here's NVIDIA right off the jump. We knew we wanted the long. This is what we're here for. Bounces off the 200 period. And that, my friends, is go, 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 go time. That was my best trade, and there's the 122.50 break, which also was pretty good until we lost view up, but we got right back in it at the end of the day. Another trade there for NVDA, and then Amazon on our watch as well. We're able to pick up some of that load right there down here to 183. We did not get our 182. That came in near the end of the day. A couple good buys there on Amazon to send in. Then we had a Starbucks trade today, and I want to talk about this because this is risk management, Adara. We were 7-1 today. But we got short here on Starbucks. It does wind up falling all the way down, about $1 in the money. But we did get stopped out there for 75% as it took out that high, but then held some to get back in
there at the end. And then Apple was another one right at the end of the day. I mean, this name. And again, why did we trade Apple short? We did get stopped out live on the show there of our last 10%. But there's VWAP again. There's the shorts, and then there's the short, and then collapse into the close. But that was still a great little trade to execute on Apple. And we went short, Adara, because it was down 0.16. And that's where it was at the end of the day. But it was always weaker than the market. And then one more trade, because Ramin's got to get out of here, of course, was our TQQ trade. And this one, man, like a glove, that came right in right there into 72.25 and bang to the upside. My P&L number 2 today goes TQQ. You were talking about having not the greatest day for yourself, but what stock will you remember today by?
You know what? I'm going to remember today, but I'm going to choose one that I learned from, which is going to be CrowdStrike. That was at one point one of my better names of the day. Then I took a really rough trade there, and the issue was I probably used too much size. I should have waited a little bit more. It was when it was kind of in its chop and churn range. Tried to go long, did not end up being successful. I should have known because my earlier long on CrowdStrike struck out. But
Ooh,
you know what I
nice
learned?
one.
Yeah, you got to make puns, but I really learned it was like Adara. I was a bit more tired today, and I think my biggest L's were CrowdStrike and Netflix. Both of those were day 2 plays, and they were a bit spreadier, not my usual scalping. So I'll learn, maybe put that as part of my playbook. Stay away from day 2 plays on stocks that aren't necessarily my type of stock. So you always want to learn lessons.
Bang. I like that one right there. Thank you, Michael Nosh, for joining us today, both in the morning and in the afternoon. One of the hardest working people around. Michael Nosh, thank you, Adara, for another great show. Thank you for all the nice comments in the chat. And that reminds me that we have to do this.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
We have to do roll call, right? I mean, we have, although it's slow summer, we still have 1,900 people watching us, which is great. Thank you so much for continuously supporting the show that we put on here right now. We cannot do any of this without Bears versus Bulls. So as we'll go on here, TH, thank you so much for profit. Chase bands. We're chasing bands every day around here. That is for sure. Some of us are anyways. Trade Forever will be here. TH, Joseph F. Juan Velasco. I love that. Damn, Daniel, yeah, you got those white Vans on? Nice one right there. Nightbot is here. Hey, Nightbot, how's it going? Charlie Taff is here. Adam DeLuz is here. Adam, I will see you hopefully across the pond. Right there, Blue Arrow, Rivian Millionaire. Once I get that million, I will buy a Rivian. I'll promise you that. Oh, my wife loves that R1T truck.
I like that.
I'm not going to be able to get away from that for sure. What's up to Henry? Again, Slop Funk Dust. I like that. Shout out to you as well. No idea what that means. Maybe I shouldn't have said it. All right. Dollar bill yet. Robert Vital. What's up, my friend? CompuCare is still here. The Piper is here. He says hello to you as well, Adara. So there it is. Great show again, says Michael Emery. Thank you so much. I know Neil's taken off some of the weight off this show for me as well, and Adara's joined as well. So I think we've gotten such a great recap team, and then someone that's doing an okay job over there on the ones and twos.
Okay.
In Ramin.
She gave us chips.
Oh man, those chips are so good.
They're so good. She gave us she gave us literally I love that 3D chip handoff she did. I want to shout out Ramin.
It was great.
Sure.
Now we're just playing around, obviously. Ramin all by herself today, and
Ram's the goat, pun intended.
That's right. I like that. The ramming of the goat. I like that for sure. Okay.
I meant like ram and goat.
Yeah.
Like ram.
Oh, I think meant when goats. Okay, a ram is a goat. Yeah.
Too, but I meant
You know how goats say ram? That's what the ram is.
That's true too. But it works on multiple levels then.
You know, it's because that real trading thing we have. Is that like a mountain goat? Is that a ram on there?
Is it a bull? I don't know.
Man, making 400 trades a day has really got me going. All right, thank you so much for joining. We will be back tomorrow. That's Trader TV Adara. I'm Trader TV Sean or something like that. I'll see you later. Thank you to everybody. Trader TV Live rules.